it in the vault. I'm locking the vault. It's a vault!
And now I'd like to invite you to rows 27, 632.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're welcoming passengers seated in zones E and F at this time. Your zone number has been indicated in the middle bottom portion of your boarding card. Once again, zones E and F please at this time.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Good morning, folks. And another milestone, month number 6. Month number 6.
No. Keep the landing gear down. You're going to need it. Literally don't think we could have done it much better. Ooh, look. Cheers, everybody. Here comes Logan, everybody. He can't get his throttle. Here he comes. Little short. Why is my propeller not turning? Why?
That's what she said.
Why is the propeller off? Did I run out of gas? Hold on. No landing gear. We did it. That's awesome. Wow. Oh my God. Oh, I didn't expect that one.
Attention, this is your captain speaking. I've got good news and bad news. The good news is we'll be landing immediately. Bad news is we're crash landing.
I'm not gonna make this. Oh! Eyes closed. Bad, isn't it? Why haven't I landed yet? Oh no! Why didn't I? What happened? So we dropped there. I think that's a little better. No, we're dropping. Boy, this thing sinks. Why does that seemed better than 162? Oh! Top 10! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're off. Slow start to the first ever derby. Kool-Aid off to an early start. I think he started early with more speed behind everybody. Way early. Dock door down in first. Oh, I'm too high. And now I can't read them. The tiny nameplates are too small for me to tell what's going on. Dock door currently in second. Racer in third. And Kool-Aid is done too far on the outside corner. He's crashed. He's crashed. Doctor back in first. Racer takes over second. A little on the outside corner, and now he's outside the track. Jeff almost. Racer's done. Second place now is Metal Moss. Metal Moss still behind. Who is that? Can't read it. Doctor is still in first. Gadget Guy in third. Jeff in fourth. They're on the back stretch right now. Doctor clearly in first. Metal Moss going side to side, allowing Gadget Guy to take over second. Jeff also going to pass Metal Moss for third. Here comes Doctor around turn 3. A little slow on that. Gadget Guy is also in the building. He's crashed. And Doctor, and down the stretch they come. Doctor, you got to keep going. They actually finish in the middle. No problem at all. Doctor is your winner. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh God. Oh my God. There we go. 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 No countdown makes a little bit of a delay.
Hello.
I'm a fighter, Peter! I'm a fighter! Thank you, Bass, so much for the 15. Tier 3.
He's the hippest cat in creation. He's the
Alpha, the Omega, A to Z. Yes, John, I'm sure it's a big help.
What the hell is this, pennies?
Pay change?
That's all I got.
Thank you, John. Hey, Bass, thank you for the tier 3. Evening Sacks, I think you were sniped.
What the hell is this, pennies?
All of it, it just all helps.
You paying change?
That's all I got.
What the hell is this, pennies?
A huge help.
You paying change?
That's all I got.
Boom. Look what you've done, John.
What the hell is this, pennies?
This is you.
You paying change?
That's all I
Even
got.
high ground. Don't tempt me, John. Creepy. Red box. Tweak. Maple.
What the hell is this, pennies? You paying change?
That's all I got.
We will have an entire... Well, no, I mean, I can just...
What the hell is this, pennies? You paying change?
That's all I got.
Can always turn the alerts off. I don't want to. I don't want to. Look at Bass. That's if I want to.
What the hell is this, pennies?
Cheers, everyone.
You paying change?
That's all I got.
That's apparently all he's got. Evening, Bittersweet. Hey, cheers, everyone. Thanks for the 6 bits. Collectively. Thank you so much.
Howdy, y'all cowboys. My name is Ted Lasso, and I'm from Kansas. Wow.
Evening, Pratt. Pineapple Gold. Yeah. I've had them for a while.
What the hell is this, pennies? You paying change?
That's all I got.
Kaleem vibes. Every hour of the day is a blur. Thank you,
You thought I'd
Bass.
forgotten your Christmas bonus.
I also like that one.
There you are.
$5.
Thank you, Raven.
Maybe I'll go to the movies
By myself.
by myself.
There's only one way to stop the pennies. Have a fiver.
Thank you, Raven, so much. Bass, thank you. Raven, thank you. A Play-Doh, thank you. Welcome, everybody. How are you? Rally Snail, good evening. Silent Bob, good to see you, too. Hope you all had a great day.
It's not a liquid.
Yes, that's true. Bass, thank you for, I don't know how many that is. I don't know. What does that say? 23, dos, tres, or deux, trois, or vingt-trois. Vingt-trois, vingt-trois. Vingt-trois if you're in French. Il est vingt-trois beat. Welcome. How are you? What's going on? What'd I miss?
Change. You got change.
Sure. Okay. 85.
85. 95. $1. Thanks, mister.
Thank you,
Boo
Rally
pennies.
Snail. Boo pennies. Thank you, Rally Snail. 80 minus 60 plus 3. That would be 24. Minus soixante.
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
That alert should keep going. That one's too short, and the others, or some of them are too long. I see, Tweak. I see, Tweak, yes. Mamba, thank you for the 29th gift sub. Evening Blueyonder. Mamba, thank you for the tier 1 to high ground. GG high ground. Brace yourself. Thanks for the bits. That's very nice. John says, some are too long. Yeah, there are a couple that are too long. Now, there are some that are worth it because they're more expensive.
Has anybody got a dime? I don't know. Somebody's got to go back and get a shitload
God.
of dimes.
I don't know what's getting ready to happen. I mean, I know this is getting ready to happen. Thank you, Raven.
What are you doing?
I'm making a pan-roasted chicken.
Pan-roasted?
You can't even see it.
Sear it on the stove and then put in the oven?
I'm just taking the chicken out of the pan.
Right up there.
It's so moist. I'm gonna let it rest now, about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's lots of brown.
You can't even see it.
You're gonna deglaze that pan?
Oh, I'm going to deglaze it.
If I was there, I would. I'd take some red wine, about a quarter cup, and then a wooden spoon, and glaze the pan.
I got a wooden spoon right here. It's pretty hard. Some onion and wire deglazing. Thinking about shallots, actually. Oh, yeah.
Shallots won't overwhelm the chicken's natural flavors.
CAAA Alway for NYA Low Over. California. No cow. To party cow I bring ya. No show to party. In the 6KAAI
Can't hear John.
of LA. In the 6KAAI of good old Watt in the 6K.
Poor John. After all that, couldn't even hear it. I heard cite. I think I heard cite. Oh my lord.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
I don't know what just happened.
But you are not a Jedi yet.
Evening, James Martin. I really don't know what happened because there was a lot. We hit the trifecta a couple times. The sound alert, the sound effect, and the bits. Sniping Tupac. So sad. That just puts me out of breath. That's exhausting. How are we doing?
Change. You got change.
Welcome, everybody. Look, see?
Sure.
85. I gotta change the font.
95. $1. Thanks, mister.
Some of them don't do that. Here we go.
Out on bail. Fresh out of jail. California dreaming.
Yes.
Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochies screaming.
Really?
Fiending for money and alcohol. The life of a West Side player where cowards die in the strong ball.
Suck it, John.
Perfect. Red box. I mean, Mikey. Perfect, Mikey. John, thank you for the bits. Look at you with the bits, John. And Mikey, thank you for suck it, John. John's trying to save up all his money to go see a UFC fight. I'm very jealous, John. You know that's going to be awesome, right? It's going to be awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. What'd you all do today? Monday? My goodness. Oh, come on. We never see this. So good.
Nice.
Thank you, Saxman.
Nice.
Nice.
What?
Nice. Thanks, Saxman. Thanks, Raven.
Change.
And thanks,
You got
Pilot
change?
Deviation. Hello.
Sure.
Is it me? Let's let her say it. She'll probably sing it better than me.
$1.
No, not tonight, High Ground.
Thanks, mister.
No, we're gonna do
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Uh-huh.
I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your smile.
She's terrible. She doesn't understand the
Change.
concept of pitch.
You got change.
Oh.
Sure.
Thank you, Mamba. No Skyhawk, High Ground. We got to figure out what we're flying tonight.
95. $1. Is it me you're looking for?
Level
Actually-
4 hype.
It's bit alerts, right?
Change. You got
Boom, there you go,
change.
Saxman.
Sure.
Oh, God. I said a hip hop. The hippity to the hop.
95. $1.
Thanks, White
Thanks,
Ninja.
mister.
Thank you.
I said a hip hop.
Uh-huh.
The hippie to the hippie.
Okay.
To the hip hop. And you don't stop. A rock hit to the bang bang boogie. Say, up jump the boogie. To the rhythm of the boogie, the beat.
Perfect.
Change. You got change.
Sure.
85. Thank you, Mamba.
85.
Say your prayer. That's Inner Sandman. I got it. I got it.
$1. Thanks, mister.
Say your prayers,
little one.
one. Don't forget, my son, to include everyone I tuck you in.
Warm within, keep you free
from sin.
Till the
Sandman
he
comes.
comes. Ow. That's
What
one
the
of
hell
my
is this you're
favorites.
paying in pennies?
That's one of my favorites,
Change.
Sax
You
Man.
got change.
Sure.
Ba with the ba da bang a bang diggy 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 shake the boogie set up jump the boogie.
95. $1.
She'll do it better.
Thanks, mister.
I love it, Blue Yonder. Sax Man, I love
da
it.
bang diggy 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 shake the boogie set up jump the boogie.
No, she hasn't heard the song. We'll have to enlighten her. My gosh, everybody, thank you. Wow, unbelievable.
Change. You got
Jeez,
change.
Pete. The chirping bird's the best part. I love all of it. The whole thing.
85. 95.
Who is the original player?
$1.
I don't know. Who is it?
Thanks, mister.
I bet Saxman might know it.
Ya want to know the secret of successful air travel?
Okay.
After you get where you're going, ya take off your shoes and socks. Then ya walk around on the rug barefoot and make fists with your toes.
Ah, yes, that's the secret of successful air travel. Yes, John McClane. I know that line. Ya take off your shoes and socks, then ya walk around, eh? Boots Randolph. Yakety Sax was made famous by Boots Randolph, Saxman going in strong. Super secret of air travel to catching athlete's foot. Oh, man. Oh, goodness sakes. I'm out of breath. My goodness, thank you all so much. Well, where were we? How are you all doing? Jacob, hello, hello. Is it
What the hell is
me
this,
you're
pennies?
looking for?
You paying change?
That's all I got.
That's all I've got. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for the bits. And go yourself. Oh, the censored
And
version.
I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
Guilty feet have got no rhythm. Thank you, Saxman. My gosh, that's plenty. That's just enough. Thank you so much. Yeah, you haven't. I don't know if you've seen that alert. Have you seen that alert?
$50.
You are not sending me $50.
We're sending you $50. Morty, get me an envelope.
Mikey, I don't know what that
Swear to
is.
God, if you send me $50, you are going to be so sorry.
I don't know what that is, Mikey.
We're going downtown to the Lulilora. Cuz sugar, we're going down swinging.
What is that? Fallout Boy? Wait, am I supposed to know Fallout Boy? I know when Fallout Boy redid Beat It. They redid Beat It, and it was actually pretty good. They had one other song that was popular. What was it? But you can know about Luluria. I don't even know what that word is.
Keep the train going. 18 months already?
Vecmaster, thank you. Year and a half. Look, you have little drumsticks now over your bronze drum. Look at that. Thank you, Vecmaster. So much. 18 months. It's down in an earlier round, but yes. What's that? What's down in an earlier round? No, 0 Fall Out Boy songs. There was one popular one.
It's been 24 hours. Got my money? Oh, you know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll
You've
have
done
it for you. Oh, that's funny. I could have sworn I said have it today. Yeah, I don't have it. Sorry.
I don't have it. Sorry, Saxman.
All right, then. That's good, OJ. Yeah, that hurt?
That hurt?
What the hell? Yeah, it feels so good, does it? No, huh? Yeah, that's what happens, man. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's what happens. Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man? Where's the money? Yeah, you like that? That feel good? That feel good? Where's the money, man? Where's my money? You got till 5 o'clock. You hear me? You got till 5 o'clock.
Clean yourself up.
Yeah, clean yourself up.
Oh, my gosh.
Where's the fucking money, shithead? Hang on, it's down there. Let me take another look.
Oh, that is so good, Saxman. Yes, thank you. And John, perfect timing.
Sure.
Unbelievable. Thank you all so much.
$1.
Wow.
Thanks, mister.
Thanks, mister. Thanks so much.
Let's put it in my terms. You're in a hostile takeover.
Okay.
You snatch us up for some green mail. But you're not expecting some poison pill to be running around the building.
Am I right?
Am I
Hans
right?
Booby.
Hans, Bubby.
Booby.
I'm your white knight.
It's supposed to be Booby, right? What's his name in the movie? What's his name? I forgot. Is it Ted? He seems like a Ted. Thanks, everybody. My gosh. Saxman, thank you for that last alert, too. My gosh. Not Hans Gruber. The one that gets shot by Hans there that gets the Coke. He gets a Coke. Cheers, everyone. It's Ellis. Is it Ellis? He doesn't look like an Ellis. Does he? Oh, man. Oh, no, I know Hans Gruber. I know that. He loves his Coke. Yes. How many Hanses? Hansel und I am Gretel. That would be a good alert. Hansel and Gretel from the Looney Tunes. There's a lot of good Looney Tunes one. Actually, the one with you know what would be a good alert is the animation from this thing.
347. This is emergency field. You are cleared to land.
It's a good one. There's just a lot of good stuff. Thanks, everybody. My gosh. Okay, well, I don't know how to top that. I hope you all had a great Monday. Is it possible to have a great Monday? My daughter had a checkup appointment for her ankle surgery that she had. If you remember, a few months ago, she had ankle surgery, and she's been having a cast on and got her cast removed.
I'm locking the vault. It's a vault.
She wears a brace on her leg to help stabilize it. And we had to get that fitted, and we had to walk around. We were there for 4 hours. So it was pretty long day. But got back and been charting out some songs for the band that I'm in, and just been busy. That's from now. Wait, your letters are backwards, and when I typed something the other day, my letters were backwards. Did that happen to you? What's that from the main of the episode? I can't tell. Yeah, I know, Raven. That's happened to me. And I'm trying to read it backwards. I'm learning to fly. Learning to fly. What's the name of the episode that's from? It's from the Looney Tunes movie, I think. I don't know if it's 1001 Arabian Nights. I don't know if it's from that, but there's a Looney Tunes movie that has Daffy Duck landing into Elmer Fudd's field. And I'm not sure exactly, but that's what it is. Evening, Anime. How are you? Notice that bug going around recently? Nice to know it's not just me. Yeah, that's the second time I've seen it. So strange. Back home already from LA. What a day, Anime. So busy. Anime sent me some pics earlier. They were awesome. And we call him Dave. Dave's dog, Dave. Oh! Text to speech has to be 100 or more. Missed it by 1. Saxman. Thank you for the 99. Thank you. Oof indeed. Yeah, Anime is the only vault winner? Look at all those losers. That's a ton of losers and only one winner. Man, the house just took in quite a few points or waffles or whatever that is. Now that's just points. Wow. Brace yourself. Hey, 99 bits and TTS81. Oh, God bless. Well, listen, tonight we are, gosh, I don't even know where to start. You all are amazing. Tonight we are going to start learning about some IFR. Now, we're not going to be on the VATSIM network tonight. We're gonna do this where we choose whatever airports we want. We can fly together. We'll put it in SimBrief. We'll choose what plane we want based on the mileage. Blueyonder is going to help a little bit with kind of doing a mock flight, and so we can all do it together. And I'll kind of learn what to say at times, and I have an idea of things, but not perfect. Well, Kaleem, I'm not actually on the network tonight. Anybody else is more than welcome to be on the network tonight. But for me personally, the first time I was learning VFR, I was doing mock VATSIM, and I wanted to ease into it. I would rather make mistakes. Oh, sorry, Walk Ninja. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a mock flight.
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
What are those lyrics?
And so I cry sometimes when I'm laying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head, and I'm feeling peculiar.
What is that line? I know that song. So that's why VATSIM is in quotation marks in the title, if you saw that. I don't know if you noticed. We're not quite on VATSIM, but we're kind of. It's for non-blondes. Thank you, Saxman, again. But I can't hear that song in my head. I said, hey. Yeah, what's going on? That's what it is? Comic Crazy, thanks for the raid of 6. Thank you. Thank you, Comic Crazy. Welcome, welcome. So we are not officially on VATSIM tonight. We're learning about VATSIM. Blueyonder is going to help, and we can all do it together.
You're learning.
Yes, chef.
What do you mean you're learning?
And we'll see how tonight goes. If we're on VATSIM tomorrow night doing this, that's fine. But I feel like this is the best way for me to learn and for other people to fly along and maybe learn. And then if we feel good, we'll look at doing it tomorrow. So, yeah, you know, we've been having flights more in the west coast area, whether it's you know, the LA area or Las Vegas or Phoenix. I think what we might do tonight, let's see. I think it would be best if we tried to do airports that we've been seeing recently. Give me a second. Now I got that song in my head. Thank you again, Saxman. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Three Legs, thanks for the follow. Did get the timeout for rushing me. I don't like to be rushed, but thank you. Welcome, Three Legs. Those lyrics mixed with that alert, you're in bed wanting to get it all out, your bad case of diarrhea. Yes. 1 hour flight is perfect for learning. Agreed. I don't want a long flight tonight. Got to go with the trial by fire method. What's up, Jay Moorhead? I want to take it easy. I don't like the pressure. Let's we're gonna learn tonight. We've done IFR flights. I don't feel like it would be bad, but I'm worried that I am going to get some sort of instruction that I don't understand. So we'll find out. So let's do. Let me just look here. I was considering going from Phoenix to San Diego or Phoenix to LA. Let's do measure distance from Phoenix. So Phoenix to LA is 220. Phoenix to San Diego is 265. What do you think? You think that's an hour? Do Phoenix to Ontario. That's the flight I'm doing for UFC. That's pretty funny, John. And they say your flight is an hour and 10. No. Blueyonder. I don't want to fly on 172. I wanted to do the. I kind of wanted to do the 320 because that's the plane I'm most comfortable with. And if I'm going to, be on the network, I need to be comfortable with the plane, right? Did I update the A320? No? I don't remember. I'm on the developmental version. Do you let your drum students go slow and easy or dump them in the pond and say swim? Slow and easy. That's why I'm going slow and easy. That's definitely why I'm going slow and easy. Absolutely. I've heard that of Plato. You need to be comfortable communicating. Correct, which is why I don't want the plane to be a challenge, and I'm comfortable with a 320. LAX to LAS is a nice, short, sweet, and simple flight. I think less people are going to be at Phoenix. You don't know how to fly the 320. Well, you don't. High ground, you don't have to fly my plane. You can fly whatever you want. However, 320 is, an airliner. You could do the Citation CJ4. You can do any jet. This one's going to be a challenge. Yes. Okay. So I think I'm going to do the 320. And let's do Phoenix to San Diego. How about that? Because we know Hello World was here last night. That was the controller on ground. Wasn't Tower, but he was one of them on ground. If we know people are up later and usually in this area, I think if it's a little longer, that's not the end of the world. But I kind of wanted to walk through the process. Oh, it has crap real-time weather? Ooh. Okay, I would like to use live weather. No, Bryce, I don't need to mess with a poll. We don't need to do a poll. I do like the TBM, yeah, Gumbo, but I haven't used it in a while, and I'm more comfortable with the 320. San Diego to Phoenix, we could do that. We could do San Diego to Phoenix. If I load into San Diego, is that going to be bad? Hey, thanks, Logan. Any progress tonight? I think, what's up, was it Lonu? 7655. I think that's too long a flight. Phoenix to Houston is way too long a flight for tonight. I want a short flight. We do, for the sake of learning tonight, I don't need a long flight. I don't want to spend 2 hours up in the air. So yeah. All bosses done. Are you kidding? All bosses done besides end game. That's amazing. Okay, so we're going to... Let's look at live weather and see what it looks like. Let's change time of day, and let's just see what... Well, are you going to change time of day or not? There we go. I want to see what the clouds look like. Oh, see, look at all the clouds. Look at this row of clouds here. This is pretty bad. This is why they're saying there's rain. We're going to definitely be dealing with some bad weather here. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's IFR. It doesn't matter. Still have like 4 or 5 left in the in-game areas. Platinum is prepped as long as I don't mess anything up. That's awesome. That's awesome. Phoenix to Albuquerque. Sometimes Albuquerque centers up, but I feel like we need to go west because usually there are controllers over here. And so if we want to practice, like, I think what would be good is if we, whatever flight we do tonight, if we could repeat it tomorrow on the network, so we already have an understanding of that flight. If you're, that's, to me, that's kind of a pro tip from a non-pro, and that is, if you're going to do a flight on VATSIM and you're concerned about it, do it by yourself first or offline, and then redo it on the network. So you already kind of know the taxiways and the SIDS and stars, and so I think that's probably best. Right, Tweak. That's what we're saying. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to depart from San Diego. We're going to go to Phoenix. Okay? So let's look here. That's the wrong one. That's Montgomery. There we go. Nope. There we go. So let's get here. Set as departure. Let's change our plane. Won't surprise me if the sim crashes. I've had it up now for an hour and haven't flown. So it's probably not happy with me. So we're at gate 95. I'm not going to forget that. And, you know, we'll load in, but we still have stuff to do. We still have to put this flight into SimBrief as well. Yes, Lonu, exactly. Yes, we saw that last night. If you're streaming on Fridays in May, you should do the Cali to Arizona flight I'm on, which actually leaves around 11 p.m. Yeah, John, I'll do it. Fine.
Electrify the boys and girls, if you'd be so kind.
So I've adjusted the camera positions as well, although that one on the right's too big, so I'm going to make it smaller. Thanks for the follow, Drake. Welcome, welcome. I figured since I'm not dealing with the HUD on the screen.
It's Joey, by the way.
Since I'm not messing with the HUD on the screen, I went on and shifted my cams to the corners. So we'll see how that works. All right, welcome, Drake. Welcome. So, hey, Drake, so tonight we're going to talk about everything that we would need to do. Blueyonder's going to help with VATSIM, even though we're not on VATSIM. But we'll walk through all the steps tonight. I don't know, Bryce. I haven't seen yet. I haven't even looked at the weather, Bryce. You're way ahead of me. God help me if you stream Saturday, May 7th. I may have to pop into the stream in between flights. Saturday, May 7th. There's a good chance I'll stream that night, John. I don't think I have a gig that night, so I'll probably just be home. Okay. So we have quite a bit to do. The first thing we're going to do... you know what I need to do? I need to get Blueyonder on here. Blueyonder, are you ready to go? Let's get Blueyonder in here. He's a dirty cheater? Oh, is he? Possibly, yes. Possibly. I saw you knew that's what he was doing? And he just decided to put that video on YouTube for everyone to see. I love I love that he just didn't care.
Hey, I live streamed it. You watched most of that live stream and must have disappeared like 3 minutes before I talked about it.
I lurk a lot, but I was there that night. I did watch that entire YouTube video. He said the video made me want to throw my phone.
Good. That's the intention. It's the only video I have that has a less than 98% like to dislike ratio.
It has a what ratio?
It's got a bad like ratio. People are very angry at it, which gives
it
me
has a
joy.
bad like ratio.
Yep.
And you keep it up. You're actually I know what you're doing. You were hoping the folks over at Chat Guesser were going to give you a job.
No.
I heard some lines in that video. You're like, if they're watching and you need any help, let me know or something.
Yep, it's definitely fixable. And let's face it, when you go into most of the Chat Guesser streams, look around, and once I started doing it, I started looking at other Chat Guesser streams, like, that guy's cheating and that's his bot. That guy's cheating and that's his bot.
You could see their bots?
Constant. Oh, easily. You can pick them out from a mile away when you start looking for it. It's all over. It's rampant. Absolutely rampant.
Logan says, thanks for reminding me to dislike it. I had forgotten.
Okay. Create a new account. Just dislike it again. I enjoy that.
Saxman, I'm going to turn him up. Yep. In fact, are you normal volume right now? Because I've got you kind of cranked. Normal. Keep talking.
Let me... you know what? I can give myself a bit of a boost.
Yeah, give you a boost, because I'm getting you. Bryce said the same thing.
How about that?
Keep
going. A little bit better?
Keep going. Keep going.
That's about as far as I can get on that output.
Can you can we do your video? Are you okay with that or no?
Yeah.
We don't have to. It's up to you.
Yeah, I've got to turn on cameras and stuff.
Because that would be helpful for them to be able to see you as well. Saxman said that's way better. Okay, and we'll put his video on too. So Blueyonder is an IRL pilot. He does stream on Twitch and puts a lot of content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Apparently, the cool people use TikTok. I'm not one of them.
All the cool people.
I've never even downloaded it. The only reason I would download it is for your videos and Logan's videos. Those are the only things I've ever seen on TikTok.
Well, you don't even need an account. You can just go on the website too.
Okay, let me do this. Off-Sked Descent, thanks for the raid of 4. Right, I'm going to add this video. Let's see. There we go. Let me do... It's, is it that one? Yes, it is. And then I'm going to crop it. I know it's going to look weird for a second. Actually, that looks really weird. Hold on. There we go. Hold on.
I'm very thin. I'm very thin now.
I'm gonna fix that for us. Give me a second. Oh yeah, we're getting it. Just a little bit of cropping. It's always different. It's never the same, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we'll make it a little smaller.
That works.
Perfect. Love it. All right. There you go. So,
all right.
Look at Saxman. Blueyonder, have you lost weight? He says.
No.
No?
I've had too much pasta. Great.
Pasta. Okay, so welcome everybody, and welcome Blueyonder. I'm glad you are helping because it's a lot. Let's see here. It's a lot less stress for me to do this. I wanted to. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to figure out a monitor thing while you're talking.
Well, I was going to say the reality is, from what we've been talking about already with the VFR flying, it's not a whole lot different from what we've been doing. There's just some effectively minor changes with some things that, especially in the airliners, are going to throw you for a complete curveball at the last second.
Well, that's what I'm worried about, honestly. I am worried about it. Logan says that's a rich person shirt. Is that true? That shirt?
Fucking Eddie Bauer. It's a cheap person shirt.
He's probably just used to seeing me wearing shirts that were given to me for free. Because I'm a walking billboard for my high school. I need to, I want to get to where I can show, I need to get where I can show what I'm seeing on screen. So give me 1 second. You all are probably going to lose Blueyonder, just real quick. And I'm going to redo, that. Give me a second. I'm going to redo his, window because I'm on a different scene. There we go. I have to alter that. I figured that would happen.
That's why I use nested scenes so that you can just turn them on and off and fix it on one and puts it on everywhere else.
That sounds like that would be important and what I don't really understand. Okay, so now let's get to this. Tonight we are doing San Diego to Phoenix. So when you are Ididacty, what's going on? If I don't see something you're saying, I'm sorry. We're gonna try to explain what's going on here. So if you are doing one of these flights, like we're gonna be doing most likely tomorrow on VATSIM, but tonight learning from Blueyonder, we're going to first create the flight plan on simbrief.com. And I just go to like my flight plan. You must be logged in. Oh, goodness. Why am I not logged in? All right, give me a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna log in. Why would I not be logged in? Wait for it. Okay. Cool. So you would go to new flight once you're logged in. And we're going to enter in all our information. And we are... now, let me ask this on... because I've never done this on VATSIM with an airliner. Do I have to choose a company?
Yeah, you can pick whatever you want, really.
Or do I still say November?
So the planes are all registered with an N number, with a November number, but they generally use their flight number for when they're talking on the radio.
So I would say, for airliners, is it okay for me? Like, well, basically with this SimBrief file that I'm going to do, does it matter what I put in here, or is that going to go all the way to VATSIM?
It depends on if you export it from here and then put it into VATSIM, then yes,
okay.
It'll go into VATSIM.
So then I got to make sure it's right. Okay.
Yeah. Now you can pick whatever you really want to, but it's easiest to pick something that they're already going to know. I know a lot of people like Speedbird, which I don't remember the airline that uses it, but a lot of people like that one because it sounds cool.
Well, this is what a Plato just put in chat to find a real flight. So, you know, if we wanted to do by route and we did San Diego to Phoenix, just pick it here and see what comes up, right? So you can now see the actual flights that do that route.
Yeah, and a lot of people will do that. And they're saying, yeah, it's Speedbird, which makes a lot of sense because the British Airways logo used to be a bird that they called Speedbird.
Okay. So do I, with like, you know, there's Frontier has the A20N. That's pretty much what I'm using, right?
Yep, pretty much.
But American Airlines has an A321, which is slightly different. Does that matter?
It makes no difference to the VATSIM, guys. No difference at all.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
It's just all your immersion, right? That's really what it comes down to.
Okay. Kaleem Vibes can't do a link. You'd have to message it to me. And I don't know what you're saying. Hold on. I gotta see what Kaleem Vibes is saying to do. Kaleem Vibes has sent me instructions on how to make all the generic aircraft on VATSIM look real. And it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's model matching is weird.
Flightconnections.com. Yeah, Walk Ninja. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too terribly much about your actual number. You can just pick a random number off there and go with it.
So you can't type. You can't type in. Like I typed in and I hit enter and it doesn't do anything. So San Diego, I guess we'll just do it that way. And then to Phoenix. Oh, this is like... Okay, it's the same concept.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, Plato.
Sell you
yeah.
flights.
What's that? What? They're trying to sell me flights.
Price line down at the bottom left.
Right, yeah, there it is. Yeah, they're not messing around.
I'm sure he sent you an affiliate link so he gets a discount.
I don't know what I'm clicking on, Kaleem Vibes. This is more than I wanted to do right now, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say just pick a number from the other page there and go with it.
Got it. Okay. So so we're gonna do we'll do American Airlines AAL 1951 was the flight.
Perfect. Now you'll also do want to kind of check, make sure nobody's flying that already on the VATSIM map. It's map.vatsim.com or
Yep, we'll
whatever.
do that.
.net, I guess. It doesn't look like anyone is.
So as of right now, the people at San Diego are online, which is why we'll do this tomorrow with them. And then Phoenix is not online, but a lot of times it is. So right now there's AAL 2578, and that appears to be it. Man, that's true.
Yeah, and you can actually type it. There's a search at the bottom right as well, so you can type in the flight number down there.
So it was AAL, was it 1951?
Yep, 1951.
And so you would just know right there that there's no one there. Cool. Okay, thank you.
Exactly.
All right, so AAL 1951 is the real flight here, departing from San Diego, arriving in Phoenix. I did not hit H twice. There we go. It's given us an alternate airport. We won't worry about that. If you don't have a plane already loaded in there, you can just select, like here, the A20N. You can load that there. But I've got one that I think Brace Yourself had sent me, so I do it through that. It already has our departure runway and arrival runway loaded in, and it does say scheduled flight time 1 hour and 20 minutes. Typically, my understanding is SimBrief will use the weather when planning these routes. Is that true?
I've never used SimBrief in my life.
Really?
Nope.
Okay.
I plan everything with ForeFlight, which it actually picks up the same database that Redbox has put there for the FAA, so that it has the same preferred routes as well.
Let me look at what he just sent. That was... Man, this is just a lot. You all are sending me like website after website after website. You have to understand, like if I get hit with like 4 websites, I'm probably going to choose the first one sent to me. Just because it's just, there's so many choices, and I don't know which one is worth it. Everybody's going to have their own favorite, right? What's up, Defiant? By the way, could you hear that, Blueyonder?
I could hear that.
Was it too loud?
I actually thought it was my watch or something freaking out because I had a notification at the exact second that went off.
Wow. Okay, good.
But
so
it's fine audio levels.
I've got it to where audio is going into Discord too, so he'll know if there's a sound effect. What's going on, Defiant? Fly-by-Wire had their own SimBrief profile. You can download it from their website. Okay. Zero says I'd recommend using the altitude routes that the IRL flight used. So, speaking of, that was... Where was that? Was that over here? Yes. No, it wasn't. Where was the... We had that... preferred routes. There it was. This one here. So this, if I click on this, does it give me all those details? Yes, right there, filed 29,000 feet. I know you're on a delay.
Yeah, that's what they.
So that's
that's just what they filed probably on their last flight. It doesn't necessarily mean it's what they're picking every time, but usually the airliners they tend to stay with the same routing every time.
So the thing is that it has a route, but it doesn't know what the weather's going to be, so that could change. Right?
So for airliners, the route really doesn't matter, the weather doesn't really matter for your route. The only thing that matters is your actual departure and landing, and most of those approaches will have alternates for. So like they'll just vector you to final, for example.
Putting it in the vault, I'm locking the vault. It's a vault.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So like the runway doesn't affect the first waypoint, or the like in this case, this ZZ00002 or whatever is the star or the SID, correct?
Yeah.
Like this where it says here.
Yep.
That's the
exactly.
SID.
That's the SID, and then the Hyder
one is the star, and those are not affected by weather because you're gonna have to go through those anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. So yeah, what Plato is saying is don't choose auto for this kind of thing. Let me put that here. So you would, instead of auto here, we would actually want to choose 29,000. And then looking here, we can see it looks like it's almost the same, right? ZZ0002, IPL 318, BZA, Hogs, and Hydra 1. And let's see if that's the same.
Exactly, and that's mostly because that's already in the FAA database as the preferred route.
We got one!
And Mgumbo, that's more or less how airliners do it as well. Now, when you're up at 40,000 feet, difference in winds is usually not huge between different layers, but you know, sometimes it helps.
Thanks for the follow, Juanette. Welcome. So odds or evens on altitude follow some kind of rule. Yeah, it's if you're going east or west, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're odd if you're going east, and even if you're going west.
Yeah. So since we are going east, we are an odd number. So 29,000 feet we've put in. You know, we've got departure runway 27, arrival runway 8, but that could change. And now we're going to generate that flight. And if we were to do this through VATSIM, you would scroll all the way down, and you can do a couple things. You can actually pre-file. If you scroll all the way down, you can actually pre-file this on their website or through vPilot, right?
Yeah.
So instead of, you know how when we do, and I'll show you, when you do vPilot, let me show you. Let me pull it over on this monitor. So this is the software you'd use for VATSIM. If you click Flight Plan, and you know how you do all this, if you did fetch from server, in fact, let's see if that would work. Okay, let's pre-file and see what happens. Oh, come on. Why am I not logged in? Well, anyway, it would probably show it. I'll log in another time. So that's, you would just probably fetch from server. It would already be there, and it would fill all of this out for you. It would give you the route. It'd plug it in. Yeah, and it would work. It would work fine.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot you have to put in there anyways. You got to put in the route. You got to put in departure, arrival, your ETAs. It's not a ton of information to put in, so
that's true. And Rare 61 is correct as well. It's not. My understanding is you can do either, right? You can go down here to vPilot, and you can just download the flight plan for vPilot, and then just load that. So that's the other choice. Instead of fetching from server, you can just download it like that, and then load from here instead of fetching from the server. So you can do either. I don't think either is wrong. The route does not include airports or runways, just the stuff in between, Creepy says.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, that's what this file is. That would actually be what you would load. That would include everything, not just the route, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have filed our flight plan. It's ready for us when we load in, and we're going to be at gate 95. So we're going to go on, and we're going to change the time of day. We are on live weather, but we'll change the time of day. You have filed on VATSIM. Well, we're not on VATSIM tonight. You missed that part? We're not on VATSIM tonight. Blueyonder is VATSIM tonight.
I guess so.
Yes, he's helping me tonight. He's helping all of us tonight. And listen, obviously, there are people in chat that all know, that a lot of people know this already, and so there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna chime in and go, either do this instead, don't do that, or this is what I normally do, or I agree with that, whatever. A lot of people are gonna have thoughts on this. So,
yeah, and the thing, especially with like even VATSIM, even real world aviation and whatnot, you talk to one instructor or talk to a different instructor, everyone's going to have a slightly different way of doing things. So there's no one way. This is the only way. It's a lot more fluid than that. It's all about communicating, getting out what you want to talk about. And there is some things, especially with IFR, that you absolutely have to do. And which are a little bit different, which we'll go through as we get going here.
So the sim is probably taking a little longer to load the 320 because I haven't flown it since the update. So I think anytime you have an update, it has to kind of rebuild a little bit. So while that's doing that, can you just give me an idea of what the biggest difference with VFR and IFR are?
It's not Talk Like a Pirate Day. So the biggest difference between IFR and VFR is that
of course, that's impossible. We're on instruments.
I'm so glad you heard that and didn't talk over it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the biggest difference is the main thing is you have to file a flight plan. With VFR, you almost never, at least in real life, unless you're doing a really long distance flight, you almost never file a VFR flight plan. Even in Canada, I never file VFR flight plans ever. I file what's called flight itineraries, which I just tell a responsible person where I'm going, give them my tracking information, off I go. So IFR, you are telling them exactly where you're going, and they're going to tell you exactly, they're going to basically control you the entire way.
I see.
VFR, you are in total control. You can be flying around and go, oh, you know what? I know that guy's farm down there, and you can go and do some circles around there and then just keep flying. IFR can't do that. You've got to do what they tell you to do.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Kaleem Vibes is worried my sim might crash. I haven't updated the 320 since the sim update, but the sim update has been only out for what, like a week? And I mean, you all have seen what I've flown every night. I've flown the 172 or the I think we did the DA40NG one night, or the SR22. I forgot, but yeah, we'll find out. I think it'll be okay. It's still loading. It's just, I mean, it's not crashing right now. It's just the bar just goes really slow because it's building the 320.
Yeah.
Well,
it takes a lot of it takes a lot of like a JavaScript code and a bunch of interpreted code and turns it into just-in-time compiled code. So that's what takes a long time the first time.
And the CRJ700 does the same thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, with VFR flying around, I'm even still, when you said, oh, you can just go like check out that guy's house and fly around it or whatever, I'm still leery of doing that. I mean, I guess you're allowed, but I'm afraid if I have requested VFR departure to the north and I'm going to the north and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I want to turn south and check something out, don't I have to have permission? Apparently not.
Yeah. So when you're in the Bravo and they clear you to leave the Bravo. So when you're flying VFR, they'll say clear the Bravo, you know, on departure, turn heading 270, and maintain 3,000 feet or something. You have to turn to that heading and go because you're under control when you're in that Bravo. When you leave that Bravo, they'll tell you leaving my airspace, resume own navigation.
Yes.
Or sometimes they won't tell you to resume own navigation. They just say leaving my airspace, radar service is terminated, and switched on route. So they'll tell you something along those lines, and that means it's your time. Now this is entirely you flying. It's entirely you navigating. They have absolutely no control. And even when they are doing something like flight following, like remember when I was blowing the doors off of you in the F-22 and the DC-6, on both of those flights, all they were doing is advising me that you were in front of me. So it was still up to me to avoid you. They were never giving a direction saying, they never said turn left. They said traffic is ahead of you, 12 o'clock at 5 miles. And it's up to me as the VFR pilot to actually to maintain that separation, not up to them.
Although that San Diego ground did ask you to go left because of the speed you were traveling.
So we had actually left the Bravo at that point. He had recommended it, but it was not an instruction.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is still loading. It might take a little bit. It has not crashed. It's still going. It's just that bar is just really, because you can see the words at the bottom are changing. It just takes that long to build the plane.
Well, it gives us a good chance to talk about what the first most important thing. This is actually where the biggest change is between VFR and IFR, and that is your departure clearance.
Okay.
So your departure clearance is going to come in hot and heavy, and you got to be ready for it with that pen. So,
yeah, I got it. So
what they're gonna do is you're gonna ask them to pick up your IFR departure as filed, so they know what's in their system and they're gonna look that up. You don't have to be too complicated with it. You just tell them your call sign and you're picking up as filed. They're gonna go look that up in their database. Any more information than that, they'll ask you for, but they won't. They know what's in their database.
So those words that you're using, I wouldn't say request IFR departure is filed. I would say pick up IFR departure is filed. Is there a difference?
You can request it or pick it up or whatever. It's as long as they know that you're looking for them to actually give you that clearance. So filing is not the same as a clearance. Filing is a request to them to give you a certain routing. It's just an easier way to request it.
So essentially, after I did a radio check, the first thing I would most likely say would be something to the effect of, San Diego ground, American Airlines, 1951 with information Bravo, requesting IFR departure as filed.
Yep.
That would be the first thing I'd probably say. And then they're going to be looking at it.
You don't have to give them the weather at that call, because you're just looking to pick up that departure, that clearance.
Oh, you don't have to give the weather there, so it's different than VFR in that sense. You don't have to give the ATIS.
Even in VFR, you don't. Generally at your departure, sometimes you do, but yeah, you're looking to pick up your actual clearance, and a lot of times the ATIS actually changes information anyways between you picking up that clearance and actually going and flying.
So I don't use information in my first line.
You can tell them, but it's not useful information for you or them at that point.
Really? Okay. Well, and Zero says you're picking up / requesting your IFR clearance, not your IFR departure. So it would be...
Correct.
So San Diego ground, American Airlines 1951, picking up IFR clearance. Is that it?
Yep. Yeah. That's good enough for them.
Picking up IFR clearance.
Yep. You're picking up. I like to pick up my IFR clearance as filed. So as filed usually helps them know that you have it there. So there is 2 ways to ask for a specific clearance. VATSIM, they really only like you doing the filing it. You can ask for it without filing something, and in real life they'll give it to you sometimes. But usually, if you're sitting on the ground, they tell you go file it correctly. Don't waste our time.
Man, this is soupy.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's IFR. It doesn't matter, does it?
Exactly.
And it's really choppy. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, the weather, pretty rough. Okay, so I wanted to. There was so pilot deviation said American Airlines is just American 123. What does that mean?
Correct. Yeah. So when you're making calling out, instead of saying Alpha Alpha Lima 123, you would just say American 123.
So am I saying American 1951?
Yep. Exactly, American 1951 in your case.
But you're saying 123 to replace the 1951 is just a placeholder?
It's the flight number, right? So American 1951, that's your flight number is 1951.
Okay.
And you're an American Airlines, so American 1951.
So American 1951. I don't have to say airlines. That's true.
Exactly.
That's true. You wouldn't say Delta Airlines, you just say Delta. Okay.
Yep. And British Airways, as Creepy Kirk says, it'd just be Speedbird 123.
British Airways is
Speedbird,
Speedbird, 1951 is just American. High Ground said, just a heads up, my IGN is Grumak Moore on my MSFS account, shared Microsoft account with my dad. Okay, and I probably said that wrong, High Ground. All right, so we are making progress. That's why it's a short flight tonight, because we knew we'd be talking a lot. So we've filed our flight plan. We've already talked a little bit about how we're going to do this, but what we have to do first is get everything up and running in the plane. Now, I do know that we can't do a pushback and engine startup until we request it, correct?
No, you actually can, but you generally don't, because you'd be burning gas, and you can't push back if you're pushing back into a taxiway. So you can start and push if you're on an apron, but it's not a great idea to do it. So
it is still recommended to wait to record.
Yeah, and it depends, and it also depends on the airport. Some of them, if you check their ATIS, will actually say you have to request clearance to start and push. So
okay.
It kind of depends. It's not, there's no universal rule on that one.
So what am I going to do tonight?
All right, so first thing you want to do is you want to get that plane started to a point where you have stable power.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and James Martin's talking about craft. Also, it was who was it that also said craft? Somebody said it as well. I saw it. Oh, it was Creepy Kirk. Clearance limit, route, altitude, frequency, transponder. Now, when you say clearance limit, is that the airspace?
No, that's actually how far they're going to get you there. So let's get the plane started, and then we're going to go through that, because that's the very, very next thing we're going to do.
Gotcha. Okay, let's do this. So let's at least get turned on. You know what I'll do? I'll get my trusty checklist out. It won't take too long, but just so I don't... Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we've done a 320 flight. There we go. Oh no, I put that over you. I can't have that over you. Okay, so thrust levers at idle, engines are off, batteries on. So we go 1 and 2 are on. And let's go on and get external power on. And a couple things I have to do. Change the levers. I haven't flown an airliner in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you can do that in all airplanes. Just pull the levers off, and now you've got 2 engines instead of 1.
And I have to change my control, because that was on for the 172 that we've been doing for the last couple weeks. So we'll change that to the 320. Come back. There we go. 2 engine.
I was going to give you my airplane's checklist if we were going to do the IFR stuff in small plane.
Oh gosh, that probably would have taken longer.
No, I usually in real life get my plane started in 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
All right, so external power is on. We're going to go on and turn our fuel pumps on.
I wouldn't be turning the fuel pumps on while you're going to be sitting here waiting.
So this is a different checklist than normal?
Well, you need to get the plane to the point where the radios are ready to go.
Okay.
Why you would have fuel pumps running when you're not actually burning fuel through there, especially when getting clearances and all that stuff, is going to take you several minutes. Okay. Because we have to manually enter all the information.
So don't burn fuel. And our frequencies are now where we can change them.
Exactly.
Okay, so what do you want me to do now?
And as Clean says, you can actually start the APU for air conditioning as well, which your passengers will thank you.
Okay.
Although this is Fliggity Air, so
right.
Screw them.
That's right. We do have wonderful coffee. Or so I'm told. I won't try it myself. Flap is open, so start that. Spool the APU up. Fliggity Air is the only airline, John says, not to boycott Russian oil. We can't spare the fuel costs. Texas Flyboy says, yuck to coffee. I'm a tea guy. I don't like coffee. My wife loves these, like, caramel mocha coffees, and she was trying one the other night. She was like, oh my gosh, you've got to try this coffee. I was like, she knows I don't like coffee. At least smell it, she'll say, and I'll smell it. And it might have, you know, like a chocolate aroma or caramel aroma or whatever. And I'm like, I bet it still tastes like coffee. And it does. It just tastes like coffee. I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do coffee unless it's like I can drink a French vanilla from Timmy's or something, but or you know, like a Frappuccino from Starbucks, but good God, that's it.
Breaking news, Fliggity Air CEO does not like filters. Defiant says, does the APU not use a fuel pump?
The APU has its own internal fuel pump, so it doesn't need the main fuel pumps.
Its own internal fuel pump. Okay. So, the packs are on.
Cool. All right. So
yeah.
From here, we're pretty much ready to start setting up the radio. So set your ground frequency or whatever frequency. So on VATSIM, obviously you got the tiered model. So if all you got is center, you'll tune it to that. If you have approach and arrival, you set it to that. If it's got tower, you set it to that. If it's got ground, that's the one you want to set it to.
Or delivery below it.
Exactly, delivery below it.
So so let's say the what do you think the ground frequency is going to be like?
Doesn't matter. We just twiddle the knobs.
Let's just do like 124.875. 85 is what I mean. 855. So now we hit switch, and our active frequency is ground. Currently, our standby frequency is Unicom, which it wouldn't be something else. So now we have our ground frequency. Am I making contact with them for just radio check right now?
You could radio check with them, but it's easier just to ask for the clearance at this point, because you could be asking back and forth or just ask for the clearance.
Okay, so we would say, make sure we say this right. So I got to practice. We would be San Diego ground, American 1951, picking up IFR clearance as filed.
Perfect.
Yes. Cool. So that's how we would say it.
Exactly. So now from here, they're going to tell you to either stand by, or they'll give you I don't remember the exact phraseology that they often give, but they're going to tell you you're number 2 or number 1 or whatever, and then effectively just sit and wait and wait and wait, and then sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, so once they do get back to you, they're going to call back probably in 3 or 4 minutes, and they'll say something like, American 1951, I have your IFR clearance, advise when ready.
Okay, so they're ready, but I have to let them know I'm ready to take it all down.
Yep.
And
exactly.
That's where craft comes into play, right?
Exactly. So they're not going to just start spewing it out there, because you've probably been waiting for a few minutes. You're probably chatting to your co-pilot, or drinking some Filter's coffee or something. So
I see Trinity wants to know if you file clearance after the passengers are all boarded or before.
You can file whenever you want. Usually they file a long time before they.
Yeah, I would say it'd be a long time before. Vanix, welcome. Yeah, we're practicing with Blueyonder. I think tomorrow we'll do it legit. But tomorrow could literally be the same flight that we're doing tonight, like San Diego to Phoenix, depending on if they're online. Like, I don't know if Phoenix is online right now, but San Diego has been on lately, so we're looking at possibly doing that tomorrow. We're just trying to get some practice on what we would say in the phraseology. So, you've said that it's I'm on standby, but then you've come back and you've said, you know, American 1951, clearance, you know, ready for clearance, advise when ready, or whatever. Advise when ready for clearance.
Yeah, exactly. They'll say, I have your IFR clearance, advise when ready.
Advise when ready. Okay, so...
Can you fly this plane and
Thank
land
you,
it?
Wasman, yes.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
So, let's talk about craft. Clearance limit. What's the first thing they're going to tell me?
So the very first thing they're going to tell you, and they're gonna ramble these off real quick.
Yes.
And it's really important that you write down the important details, and that's why people oftentimes will put that craft on their notepad. And they're going to ramble it off, and you have to repeat it back to them, and they really strongly prefer you to repeat it back to them in order. Oftentimes they won't even they'll tell you to try again if you don't.
This is already scary. What's up, Storkman? Okay, so let's talk about the 5 letters before you ramble them off. Thanks, Redbox. I'll check that after the stream. I've seen some forums I've seen forms like this. The problem I have with forms that people have sent me is that I'm not familiar with them. And when they start saying things, I don't know where to write them because I'm looking like I've seen people give me these forms of like 20 things on the form. And I'm like, if I don't know where things are, I'm too busy searching for it on the form, and I'm not hearing what's going on. So right now, it's easier for me to just write.
Yeah, exactly. And realistically, for a lot of people, I'd say most people, it makes more sense to just freehand write it down than to try and fill out a form. So
Redbox makes a good point.
Say go with that.
Pre-fill a lot of it based off your flight, your file, or your flight plan, and that way you kind of already have it down a little bit, and then maybe adjust it as they do it, or no?
No, I wouldn't do that.
No.
The main reason is because they're going to give you something you're completely not expecting.
Okay,
every
they
single
can screw
time.
up. Okay, so the first thing
there's almost nothing that they're going to give you on each individual one that you can actually predict, which is why they're giving it to you this way.
Okay. And Stevie, I might do that at some point. I might just watch pilots getting clearance, IFR clearance, and see if I can write them down.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead.
That's absolutely the best thing to do. Absolutely the best thing to do. All right, so the first thing they're going to do is give you a clearance, and that clearance is how far you are allowed to go without talking to anybody if you have some kind of radio failure. Because IFR was designed in a time where we had radios that were very susceptible to failure. Radios were effectively garbage. I have a handful of them sitting in the hangar. They're crap, or at least back in the day they were crap. So the point of them giving you a clearance is they're telling you how far you can go, what you can do, if you haven't talked to air traffic control. So if you have a radio failure, or they have a radio failure, or whatnot, they have already set up a flight plan for you, put you into all their systems, done all their route plotting. They've followed all the procedures to make sure that you aren't going to collide into anybody else. So that's why they give you specific altitudes, specific pathing, specific all that stuff, so that they can be sure you're away from everybody else, because it's their responsibility. IFR, it's their responsibility to keep you away from other airplanes.
Yeah, that's true.
So when they're giving you a clearance, they're going to tell you how far you can go before you have to be talking to other people.
I see. Okay. So give us an example.
So for this flight, for example, most likely they're just going to clear you to Phoenix Sky Harbor. So your clearance is going to be all the way to Phoenix Sky Harbor. Now, if the airspace over there's busy, there's people they can't predict coming in, they might clear you way less than that. They might clear you to something like to Hogs or Judith or something along your actual flight path. So
I have to be ready for any of
that way.
those. I have to be ready for any of those, and it would help me to really know my route before radioing in, so I don't misinterpret the word. Right? Because I could probably be like,
exactly.
Oh, I've seen Hogs is on the route, so it wouldn't weird me out to hear that word.
Exactly.
Creepy says, you have immaculate camera quality and great presence. It's already an amazing stream. I want his camera. It's the A7, right? The Sony?
A7 III, yeah. It's It's because this one doesn't have the 4K 120 frames a second. It only does 1080p at 120 frames a second. So I can't really use it for most stuff.
But it's you can't do 4K with streaming anyway, so.
Well, this one I actually can pop up to 4K. I was considering doing a 4K stream the other night, but
wait, you're saying Twitch can do a 4K stream?
I think so. I know YouTube definitely can.
I thought Twitch had a cap at 1080.
I'm pretty sure they lifted a bunch of that. I'm pretty sure you can do at least do 1440.
Anybody know that? His frame is cluttered. Stop it. Cap at 1080, Clean Vibes said. Yeah, Oh, Kona Stevie says I've seen 1440. Really?
Yeah, I know I've seen it. I'm pretty sure it's fairly recent that they bumped that.
Okay, I'll have to check that.
But remember, just to go to 1440, you're effectively talking double the number of pixels you're pushing out. So.
Well, and it also isolates people that don't have great internet to watch as well. I mean, now if you're transcoded, they can watch whatever.
Exactly. You're transcoded, and they've been stepping up the transcoding game. I'd say 80% of my streams have been transcoded, and I don't even look at it. I just like, okay, well, hey, look, it's working.
Nice. Okay. Gumbo says detailed prep is important. Things could happen along the way, and you should be familiar with places along the route. Okay. So, exactly. So C is our clearance to somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay. R. So
now what they're gonna do now? Your R, that's your route. So this is how you're going to get to that clearance point. In a lot of times, what they'll do is tell you which departure you're going to be using. So they might tell you the Zoo 2 departure, and they might tell you a different departure. It all depends on what their airspace is available. What airspace has. You know, if you're going east, and most of the traffic is going north, they're going to generally vector you south around, you know, kind of turn around to stay out of that traffic. So it's all depending on what their airspace is doing. And that's why you probably aren't going to know what departure they're going to give you until this very moment, until the moment they actually tell you.
Wow. That's going to be scary if you don't know the area very well.
Yeah.
Wow. So is the R in craft... Is the R the most long-winded one and the most difficult to keep track of?
It absolutely can be, yeah. So what they can do is they can give you a bunch of different ones. If you filed with a specific departure, usually they'll just say as filed, which is nice and quick.
That would be nice.
Sometimes they'll give you a different departure. Sometimes they'll repeat the same departure you had, and
then you have to repeat
and then
it.
Say, yeah, exactly. So they'll say like Zoo 2 and then as filed.
Oh.
So all you have to do is know, okay, Zoo 2, then as filed. Great.
Okay.
Where it gets scary is if they decide to amend it. So say, for example, they have pretty heavy traffic along one route, or you're a fast airplane and they've got a slower airplane, or maybe the route you've chosen is really more designed for like Learjets and stuff that are going to be running faster than an A320. They will give you a different routing, and that's when it gets scary, because that's when they could potentially give you all your waypoints, and now you've got to write all those down.
Oh God. And there could be a lot.
There could be. Depends on how far you're flying.
The shorter flights are going to help us.
Yeah, a bunch.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
Now, fortunately on VATSIM, the controllers are usually pretty good. If they amend your flight plan, they'll tell you they've amended your flight plan for you, and then they'll say, I've sent it to you in chat. And then you just look over on your thing, and it's on there. And if they send you that, your clearance is real easy because they put everything in there, which is really helpful.
Well, and Zero, yeah, I know. So before we would radio in, we're going to have charts pulled up. We're going to have everything up so we have an idea. We can visualize things before he tells us what we're going to do. And that way, even if it's something different, maybe I have an idea of what else it could be based off what I've seen. So,
yeah.
I mean, pilots wouldn't go into a flight like this not knowing what they're probably getting ready to hear. Or a lot of these pilots have done these flights over and over again, right?
Correct, yeah. So generally, the pilots, they don't necessarily go into doing a route until they've, been flying a while. Now, once you get really used to pulling up your approach charts and your SIDs and your stars and all that stuff. Once they rattle that stuff off, it's pretty easy for you to figure all this stuff out, especially with modern computers and whatnot. So it's not too terribly bad, but yeah, it can be difficult.
Yeah. Okay. So the A, is that our altitude?
Altitude. Now this is a really fun one because it gets a little bit can get a little bit hairy. This is you know how you're always setting that clock on takeoff?
Yes.
This is the reason why you set that clock. This specific reason is why you set that clock.
This one here.
So what they're gonna
the chrono button, right?
Yep, exactly. So they're gonna tell you, they're gonna give you a altitude to fly. So they're gonna say so they'll give you, as filed, and then they'll say ascend on they'll say something along the lines of ascend on departure to 8,000 feet, 10 minutes, expect 27,000 or flight level 270.
So you've got to be able to look at that clock and know in 10 minutes that you need to be at that flight level 270.
No, at 10 minutes, that's when they're going to change your clearance. So your clearance, with your initial clearance, when they say that 8,000 feet or 5,000 feet, exactly. So whatever they give you there, that's what you have to go to, and then after 10 minutes, they're going to change that. So if you haven't received anything from them, after 10 minutes, that's when your clearance changes to that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, maintain 8,000. Yeah, they'll say maintain 8,000.
Right. Most people say climb via SID, Rare says.
Yeah.
You could get climb via the SID. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm already worried.
So if you have your SID on, for example, if you have your SID in your flight plan, they'll just give you the departure, and that's why they say like the Zoo 2 departure. That's your SID.
Yeah, I know, Creepy. I know. He said, and they talk fast. Make sure you're 100% plugged in. I messed up my first readback by missing the altitude part. I do not anticipate getting the first readback correct. And that's okay.
No, nobody does. I think I still get like 30% of mine wrong, and
yeah.
enough. So.
Redbox says it's much easier if you tackle IFR in a smaller plane. I don't know if that's true. You still have to learn. I'm more comfortable with this plane. My issue is reading back things. That has nothing to do with the plane.
And things happen a lot faster in a jet too. But it's pretty straightforward. So far they've told us how far we can go. They've told us what our routing is, and they've given us our climb altitudes.
Yeah, and I see that zero. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the good part. So that's the first part, and the last two we got is the frequency. And they're going to give you a departure frequency.
Yeah.
So once you leave tower, they're going to give you the next frequency that you need to be on. So say you get off the ground and tower for whatever shuts down, they're going to give you the next frequency that you need to be on.
Yeah.
So that say you lose contact with them for whatever reason, you're just not able to talk to them because a lot of radios are really crap. So a tower radio wouldn't work very far, whereas a terminal radio, they'd have repeaters all over. They'd give you that frequency. So they're going to tell you departure frequency is 132.2 or something along those lines.
Okay. And that's where you would report, that you're at, 1,500 feet for 8,000 feet. You give them your location and who you are and who you're radioing to. You wouldn't say anything else, right?
Yeah. Usually just tell them they have you in the system. They're going to have you in the system, so you can tell them what altitude you're at. And if they don't know where you are on the screen, they can't pull you up on the screen. They'll ask you to squawk ident or something.
Okay. Yeah, ident, right. Okay, that one's not too bad. And then T.
And last one is T, which is your transponder, and they're just going to give you a 4-digit code for your transponder.
Last two are easy.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about those. And actually the first one, clearance to Sky Harbor as filed, and they might say what the route is, or they might just say route as filed, or they'll make us write down the whole thing. And then we'll have to really pay attention to the altitude. It's a lot.
Yep.
Okay, so at this point, we've already been told to advise when ready for we would just say we're ready for clearance or IFR clearance. Is that what it would be?
Yes. Yeah, so you've started up, you've set your radio frequencies, you're going to ask them for that clearance. So you're going to say, looking to pick up my IFR departure to Phoenix Sky Harbor, as filed.
And we did that already.
Exactly. They're going to get back to you and say that request received on advisement number 2 or something.
Yeah.
And then in a couple minutes, they're going to get back to you and say, because they have to check a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
So they're going to say American 1956 or whatever it is.
You look at what Logan said.
There's a good teacher. I always thought he was a prick face with jet habits. Get used to it.
He is a good teacher. He helps me all the time, Logan. Okay, so keep going. Keep that thought.
Yeah, so they're gonna call you back and tell you that they're.
What's up, DJ? Go ahead.
I like that one. So they're gonna tell you advise when ready. You're gonna call back and say that you're ready, and then that's when they're gonna give you. They're gonna ramble off that huge.
Right. Now we're ready. Ready for what? IFR clearance? Because we.
Yeah, they're gonna say we have your clearance. Advise when ready to copy.
Okay, we're ready to copy for clearance. We'd say that. So here we go. I'm gonna write this down. You ready? So I would say, and we're tuned into ground currently. I would say San Diego ground, American 1951 is ready to copy. Is that all? Just ready to copy?
Yep, that's and then they're gonna ramble off into that. So they'll say something like American 1951 cleared to Phoenix Sky Harbor, the Zoo 2 departure, then as filed, climb maintain 8,000 feet at 10 minutes. Expect flight level 270, departure frequency 123.4, squawk 1234.
So we'd say clearance to Sky Harbor for Zoo 2 departure as filed. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet at 10 minutes for flight level 270. Departure frequency is 123.4. Squawk 1234. American 1951.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you say and then as filed instead of as filed.
And then as filed. And then as filed. Right.
Yeah,
that's such little tiny words.
Yeah, and your altitude was it's 2,000 or whatever 1,000 feet I gave you. I don't remember.
You said
already.
270.
Yeah, so climb, and you'll say climb and maintain 8,000 feet, and then 10 minutes. Expect flight level 270.
So what's up, Tweet?
Really, right about that.
Go ahead. What's that?
So that was right about perfect. So
very close, very close.
Just some minor phraseology stuff.
And obviously, the route that you gave me was easier than what they could say, but you said the Zoo 2 departure and then as filed. Yeah, I know, creepy. Yep. I know. Faster. Now I do want to clarify. Any user says little tiny words keep planes from running into each other. It's true. So when you said climb and maintain 8,000, I'm just understanding the phraseology. So I'm going to climb and maintain 8,000 feet, and then once we get to the 10-minute mark, are they then going to tell me to climb to 270? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, so that's if you haven't really established communication with them. Once you're off the ground, they're going to then start actually vectoring you. So they could clear you sooner than that, or they could clear you later than that. So you have to be ready.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Let me look here. Hold on. I gotta catch up this conversation. How many times was Logan scolded in class? What's up, Almir? How are you doing? Hardly ever, Logan said. Yeah, I never scolded Logan ever. Logan was a great student. He might remember better than I would. I was good at what he taught. It's true. Didn't need a whole lot of reprimanding. Logan was definitely one of the best students I've ever had. I mean, and I know Logan knows that. I mean, he was very talented, very gifted. And I also had his sister, and his sister was wonderful as well. Their whole family was awesome.
So what information does he have to blackmail you with to say that?
Just don't say what I told you. Look, no. His sister was, very intelligent. She was section leader of the keyboard section that we had, and yeah, they were very good. All right, so we've gotten that information. The next thing, go ahead.
Well,
Rare 61. Yep.
Rare 61. He makes a good point. Sometimes one of the clearances they'll give you is just climb via Zoo 2, in which case it's they're not giving you specific altitudes to go to. You have to follow what the
constraint is. What the constraint is on the charts.
Exactly. And more often than not, especially on VATSIM, that's what they give you. So now, if they do say a specific altitude, you go to that specific altitude.
But you're saying more often than not, they'll ask you to do what the departure says to do. They won't give you an altitude usually.
Exactly. So sometimes what they'll do, and it really depends, but a lot of the time, sometimes they'll tell you climb, maintain 5,000 feet, 10 minutes after departure, climb via the SID. So
climb via the SID.
That's when you climb via the SID.
So they're saying stay at 5,000 for 10 minutes, and then start to do what the SID is telling you to do.
Exactly, for your climb.
Amplify, we are still on the ground, yes. Yeah, we have done nothing. We've done a lot.
Now, one of the...
Just not flying. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So one of the other things they're going to possibly give you is ask you to maintain runway heading. So...
Tin Man says no, that was wrong. I don't know what he's referring to. What are you talking about, Tin Man? Yeah. We did say people are going to say, oh no, you do it like this, you don't do it like that. Climb via, Tin Man says. Who was wrong?
No,
Rare or Blueyonder?
I've heard him say it, so it's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we knew there'd be different opinions. Yeah. You don't maintain 5K for 10 minutes, then climb. I think you absolutely could.
If they request it, it's usually for clearance for other traffic that's moved around. So they could ask you to do it. It's not that they're going to necessarily ask you to. They can ask you to.
Yeah, they might want you to be at 5K because there's traffic above you.
Yep, exactly. There might be traffic flying through that SID, so they're going to want you to stay underneath that, so you don't glide into.
Yeah, I think you have to just be ready for anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And one of the other things they might ask you to do is they'll tell you to they might ask you to maintain runway heading, or they might ask you on departure, turn, heading, whatever, and then vectors.
Right.
Vectors.
Okay. So now, we've gotten all of our clearance, but the next thing we have to do is get the plane going before we can request pushback and startup. Is that right?
Yeah. So once you've read that back, they're going to tell you readback is correct, or they'll correct you on certain things.
Sure.
So they'll say if you get your squawk code wrong or something, they'll say squawk code whatever again. Read back just that portion of it that they gave you back, and then they'll tell you read back is correct.
So then they would probably say advise when ready for pushback and startup.
Yep, exactly.
Or they might say advise when ready for taxi, which would mean I don't need to request pushback and startup.
Yep, they'll tell you that. So it depends on the airport you're at, the specific procedures at that specific airport, but they'll tell you what you need to do. So whether it's advise when ready for pushback, or they'll say pushback at will, advise when ready to taxi. It all depends.
Two things.
So
One,
you just kind of have to be ready for that.
Amplify. Good evening. How are you? And Kaleem says set up the IRS right now. Is that different than the ILS? What's the IRS?
So yeah, that's actually something that's a good point to do that. So if you look straight above you.
Oh, the ADIRS. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't done anything yet. Yeah, normally this would take a while, but we have it on instant. In the settings. So yes.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Because that one, the IRS takes a little while. It's not GPS. It's kind of like GPS. It's like a inertial. It's inertial reference system. and it takes a little bit to figure itself out. So yeah, exactly. Inertial reference system, and it's got to figure out where it is and line itself and start itself up, make sure it's all good to go before the plane can't be moving while that's doing.
Pirate Lord, thanks for the follow. Welcome. So yeah, normally that takes a while to do, but in my settings I have it not on realistic, just because we were doing long flights, and you know, we obviously could have done it tonight and it would have been fine, but when we're really going, we usually don't wait that long for that to go. Unrealistic. Correct, Kaleem Vibes. Unrealistic. My
immersion.
Yeah, and Plato said after readback they'll usually say something like American 1234 or Knights 51 or whatever. Readback correct. Push at your discretion. Advise when ready for taxi. Expect runway. Blah blah blah. So now that you can expect a runway, you can then look at the charts to get an idea of what your taxi route will be. So do you want to give me an idea of what runway to expect? Do you have it pulled up? Not Phoenix. I need San Diego.
San Diego. Pull that up
San
here.
Diego.
It's like runway. Expect runway 27.
So runway 27. Okay. So we would say we'll advise, or we'll pushback is at our discretion. We'll advise when ready to taxi and expect runway 27, American 1951. So let's pull up this chart. And there's 27 there, and there's our parking spot. So we're in front of Terminal 1. That's another thing. We didn't have to give location when we radioed in. That was one thing I didn't do. I didn't say parked at gate 95. Should I?
So when you're getting your clearance, they don't really care anything about the airport itself. It's all about once you leave the ground. So your clearance is all about once you're leaving the ground. So you haven't asked for any kind of clearances to actually take off yet, or to taxi, or any of that. And for them, they genuinely don't care when you're getting a clearance, when you're getting your IFR clearance.
Okay. Plato says in the U.S. you only have to ask permission to push if it's onto an active taxiway, or you're told that you have to, either in ATC or after your clearance. Okay.
Yep.
And Clean Vibe says most airport runways have their own assigned SID, so meaning one runway, one SID, or at least in the rest of the world.
Yep, that's exactly true.
Maybe you will first do your flight planning in your FMC. Well, I'm going to. I just haven't. I mean, there's still lots to do in this plane. I just haven't had a chance yet. So we were just kind of looking. We're probably going to be taking taxiway Bravo to hold short of runway 27 when they give us clearance. But until we can push back, are you telling me, by the way, I didn't know, did you tell me to push back is at my discretion, or are you going to tell me?
Yeah, push back at your discretion.
All right.
Advise and ready to taxi. Expect runway 27.
Gotcha. Okay. So so we're gonna do quite a few things now to get this plane going. So let me keep going with the rest. And now that we've done that, we're not burning fuel. Now we're burning fuel. So we're gonna get this plane going. Fuel pumps are on. White lights are extinguished. Oxygen in the plane. APU bleed is on. Master switch on. Anti-ice is going to be turned off. We don't need those on. Flight directors are on. Go ahead.
You'd probably want to be setting up your FMC right too. So before you start turning stuff on.
So that's a different. You're going in a different order than I've ever gone. I usually do that after I do all this.
Yeah, either way it works. Whatever procedure is working for you. So. But before you start the engines is when you want to be setting up your FMC, because it's going to take you a little while.
So in my checklist, FMC is getting ready to happen. It's very close. I'm just turning on a couple of lights.
Yeah, then continue on.
And my brightnesses, I have to do those, and then I load my fuel in, and then we load our flight plan. This is just, I mean, if I need to do it in a different order, that's fine. This is just what I've been used to from those, you know, we did the around the world in this plane too, which was awesome. Okay, so let me just get some brightness going. I'm sure I'm going to get a CTD after all this. It would not surprise me. We've just been sitting here for a while, and the frames that I'm getting at this airport in this weather is not great, but it's okay. Okay, so brightness is going. Let's go on and get everything plugged into the FMC. Let's, oh, let me come back here. Turn on the fly pad. It's true, any user, the FMC is cheaper to set up when fuel isn't running. He's right. If you had to pay for the gas, you may do it last. That's right. All right, so turn on from sim brief. There we go, San Diego to Phoenix. There we go. So we're gonna look at our fuel for this.
Now,
yes.
Does that load it into the FMC as well, or did that just put it onto your?
It's only on the iPad. It is not in the FMC.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it is
so
not.
That's you'll generally want to get used to at this point manually plugging into the FMC, because they can give you those different clearances. So even though you've created one on SimBrief, there's gonna be changes on there. So you can, if they give you pretty much as filed, you can load it in there and just make amendments. But if they make some sweeping changes, you got to get used to changing those.
Okay, well, you're gonna get your wish, and we won't automatically load it. So the OFP says to use 4836 for fuel. I'll just round that up to 5,000. This is probably going to take me a little bit longer. Oops. And then hit play there, and there's our fuel. We're in. So we can see now 4980 kilograms of fuel are in, and we can start putting in some things. So normally I would just automatically load it in from SimBrief, but we're not going to do that right now. We're going to try to see if we can do it on our own, and it's going to be harder for me because I usually don't do that. So CO root, is that company root?
I believe so, yeah.
And I don't know what I would normally put in there.
That'd be like AAL 19 or whatever.
That's my flight number, though, right? Would that be flight number? Like, I don't know what company route would be.
Oh yeah, the flight number. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't use. I don't usually enter that part of it.
It's part of your. It's part of your way to get off the ground quicker, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So speed running. It's wonderful.
So somebody will have to say what company route is. While that's happening, I'm going to put in our departure KSAN / to Phoenix KPHX. Why does that say none?
Because there's nothing in its memory for an existing route.
Okay.
So I think there's a way to save routes or whatever. The company puts their own in there.
Okay. I think company route is just to load a saved route. Don't have to fill that out. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Cost index. I've seen where people put in 25, but that might actually be something on this up here. Is that right? Is it on this chart? I thought it was at one point.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, cost index. There it is.
Where is
CI8.
it? CI8.
Top right.
There it is. CI8. Yep. Okay, so we just say 8.
And someone can maybe fill. I believe the cost index is effectively it'll climb faster with a different cost index as compared to climbing shallower to save gas. So it depends on. It changes the way that the performance information on Ascent is. So
cruise flight level is going to be FL290, and the temperature. I don't know about the temperature. Is it the temperature at 29,000 feet?
I don't know. I don't look at these ones.
So let me do. I'm just gonna do flight level. Roar! I'm not gonna do a temperature. Let's see if that does anything. It already did -42. It filled it out for us. Okay, so that's done. And then if I go over 1, our zero fuel weight is down here. No, where is? Oh, you know what? It's because I always click that button. It does it automatically, and that's when our passengers are on board. So let's do our passengers real quick. Just for weight balance, request, and board. So you can't do 0 fuel weight until your passengers are on board. So we're gonna let that load for a second. Yeah, you got it, Icebird. That's what happened. It auto calculated. Yep. Gumbo says cost index is a bean counter number. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. It's I guess it doesn't do for climb, but it is the ratio. So it depending on how it's how much fuel you want to burn. So if the company's like, yeah, go for it, you want to get there faster because it's going to cost us more money if you're taking longer. Then it's going to burn in fuel. Then you can do that. So for example, if your fuel prices are really, really high, but your labor costs for ground handling and whatnot is really low, then you'd care more to take longer. Whereas if your labor and handling and stuff is really expensive, your pilot costs are really expensive, the fuel is really cheap, then you just hit those throttles. But that's all the bean counters. They figure out those numbers.
So Creepy, I wrote that down. I will I'll try to remember that because I do it in a different order when we have the file just loaded in from SimBrief. So I'll do that here in a second. The diffsrip, data init A, flight plan, secondary flight plan, we won't be using that. Rad nav, init B, and perf. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Iceberg. But Tin Man said I wasn't correct on that one.
Tin Man says that's actually correct. Wait, was so Tin Man
Apparently
correcting himself?
I guess so.
Tin Man. Takes a big man to admit when they're wrong. And today, you are that big man. That's a line from The Office.
You're calling him fat, aren't you?
No. No, I'm not. All right, almost done with passengers. More than halfway. Between 0 and 100 for A320 family. What is between 0 and 100? Cost index?
Oh, the cost index, yeah.
Takes a bigger man to laugh at that man. So I can't do my 0 fuel weight until this is done. Tried low and high. So once this done, I'll go back and do that diffsrip acronym and see if it works. What's up, Chaseman? How are you? Welcome back. How's IFR going? We're still on the ground and 2 hours into the stream.
Yeah.
Are using the flyby chart to calculate trim properly based on center of gravity. I always do 1.2 for my trim, and it's usually not a problem. But okay, so let me click data. I never ever click this button. I never click this button, so I don't know what to do with this button.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Position. So this is kind of like the CRJ 700 where it was showing you exactly where your GPS coordinate was, right? Maybe?
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck.
Yeah, it looks like that's what that is.
The first officer and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time
Ignore data, thank you.
We're just wrapping up some paperwork.
The right AirAC is loaded. Looks great to me.
Then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing.
Where do you see if the right AirAC is loaded?
Undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Aircraft status.
Yeah. Others say
AirAC is March 24th to April 20th. That looks good. Yep, that is updated. Okay, good. So data's done. Then the next one was init A, and we already did that. And then the next one was flight plan. And so now we get to enter. We're going to look at this SID. We were told Zoo 2. And there it is right here.
Didn't you
say that?
Can't you just click on the departure there and it'll put it in? Well, yeah, you want to read that, obviously, make sure.
Yes. Yes, we will do that. So I was just pulling this up so we can see it. Runway 27, out to Zoo 2. Also, you can see some of the constraints we're going to deal with. We have to be under 12,000 feet, which we will be, with a max of 230 knots going around that turn. And then you've got to be over 14,000 feet at George. And yeah, so let's click KSAN, departure, runway 27. And then we're going to scroll down to Zoo 2. And then the transition. Now, you didn't give us a transition because it was as filed. Because you said, and then as filed.
Yep.
So now I'm going to have to pull it up.
So usually when you're filing out one of the flight plans, one of your waypoints is going to be the end of the SID anyways.
So the routing said IPL. I'm going to put it in chat. This was what SimBrief showed us. And since ATC told us, and then as filed, I'm going to choose that IPL because it was in there.
There you go.
And then insert. And then J18 is just one of the flight paths, right? Like one of the...
Yeah, that's the airway.
The airways.
So there's a whole bunch of waypoints along the airways. It's easier just to say, put it in the airways.
Stay on the airways. Stay on the road.
Yep.
First waypoint after a SID or before a star is always a transition. If it's not listed as a transit, it's basically the default. Okay.
Yep.
So, we can see some of those constraints already that we saw on the chart. You see where earlier where we could...
South Africa.
Hey, what's up, Quentin? Good morning.
South Africa.
You see where we were under 12,000 at Jetty? Well, look over here on the screen. You've got Jetty, 12,000. It also has the 230 knot speed constraint. And then the George over 14. There's George right there, 14. So it's in there pretty good. We're going to scroll through, make sure there's no discontinuities. There is. So we're going to get rid of that. Cut back. There we go. And that's...
well, you still haven't finished filling in your flight plan, so that discontinuity makes a lot of sense.
We haven't finished our flight plan?
Yeah, because you have IPL, but then you have J18 to Bravo Zulu Alpha.
Okay. So from... Where are you? From IPL. So I need to manually, or do I go to the approach from Phoenix? Because I figured we would wait to enter that when we heard from approach.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where the BZA is. Yeah, click next IPL, enter the airway, which is going to be your J18.
I've never done that before. Never needed to because it was always done for us through SimBrief. Wait, that didn't work.
Yeah.
That didn't. Wait, no. Now it says via J18.
It just takes a while. It's slow.
So will it not show that?
2.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 2, then that's where you put in BZA, right?
2 BZA. So hold on. So when I went IPL Airways, wait, it's gone. Crap. Hold on. J18. Oh, and then 2. I see. Okay. So now that was BZA. Gotcha. B.
Yep.
ZA. Sorry. Okay. Gotcha. All right. That makes sense. I've never done it before. So insert that.
Yep.
And now we have IPL, HEEDS, BZA.
Perfect.
And it does say J18 underneath.
Yep.
And then was there anything else on that? No. After that, it was just the approach, the Hogs and Hydra 1, and we won't know that for sure until we talk to approach in Phoenix.
And unless you filed specifically with it, when you file specifically with it, they will usually just assume you're going to be flying that one.
So do I wait to put it in, or do I do it now?
Because you filed it and they've cleared you as filed, I'd probably put it in now.
Okay. So let's do destination to Phoenix. Arrival. We don't know the runway yet, do we?
We don't, but we can kind of infer what runway it's probably going to be.
With the weather?
By checking the mutator.
Let's do it now. I beat you.
Yeah.
Mutator. It does say mutator. Oh my god, it says mutator. So that says 10 knot winds coming from 200. So probably a runway 25 or 26. Kaleem Vibe says Blueyonder, the star will be given separately. Star clearance.
Yeah, they will be given separately, but if they've cleared you to it and it's in your flight plan, you may as well put it in now, and they will change it later. So chances are they're going to give you that to you. May as well just program it in now.
We can always change it if we need. We've changed stars middle of flight a lot.
Yeah.
So looking at Phoenix's runways. This one here. So 25 left is the short one. We have 26 and 25 right. And the main terminal is here. So 26 or 25 right. What do you think they would choose?
It really depends, right? So, for example, I happen to know that. Let me check. I will. Yeah, there's not a whole lot in
so it's
the
either
official
26. Plato says it's either 26 or 25 left, and we wouldn't use 25 left. Now, Kaleem does say the pre-file won't include the star.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
So, all right. Well, let's do this. Let's wait. We can wait. Let's look at it on the screen. Let's zoom out. And you can see what we saw earlier going around that corner, 230 knots, and then out.
Cool.
So that looks good to us. Nice. Okay. So keep going with the checklist.
Put it in the vault. I'm locking the vault. It's a vault.
So we just did flight plan. The next one is a secondary flight plan, which we won't use. The next one is RadNav. RadNav would be any frequencies that we're going to put in. Do I need to do any of this right now?
No, because you're flying GPS, so you're going to be fine.
We don't need any VOR frequencies. Then init B, which is where we're going to do that zero fuel weight. So now that our passengers are on, we'll just hit the button twice next to it. And then our block of fuel is 5.0. So we have almost 5,000. And then the perf. So we click perf. And we can go on and do our flaps and takeoff. So we're doing flaps 1/up 1.2 degrees.
Looks like Creepy Kirk says for that CFG it's 1.4. That's
your trim is 1/up 0.4 for that centigrade. How do you know that?
I think it's on your file over there.
Is it?
But yeah.
I mean, that's great to know. I've never known. He says I have the fly-by-wire chart. Okay, do I have that chart? SimBrief doesn't include it, right?
Okay.
So, okay, well, I will take your word for it then. Thanks, Creepy. Yeah, I don't know how that works. So let me do 1/up 1.4. And now we can do our V-speeds. Transition altitude in United States is 18,000 feet. And we're not going to do flex to temp. And that's it for now. Climb would be at 250. However, I'm going to see, this never ever works for me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Pre-select is 230 for going around that turn, but it never works. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think that's the VNav issue.
Yeah, I think you're right. So if we go to flight controls, you can see that pitch trim is 0.0. I'm going to go on and do that at 1.4. This is just set when we take off. Let's keep looking at our checklist, make sure we're doing everything correct. Flight plan, cruise altitude. We've been told maintain 8,000 feet. So we're going to go on and put that in. V speeds are done. Climb speed is done. Initial altitude is set. Weight and balance checked. And about some coffee. Seatbelts are on. Switch is on.
Sound effect I didn't hear.
No, it's coming from the other computer, and I don't hear it either. OBS doesn't let you hear videos. Strafa Orasp, thanks for the follow. Welcome. This 3-hour pre-flight makes you miss Starfly streams. Well, hopefully they won't take that long in the future. What never works again? My pre-selected speed. I always struggle to get it to work when I go to manage speed, because it's in my pre-selected speed. I don't know, unless I'm supposed to do select. Like if I do enable selected airspeed, but it is in the computer, so maybe I was just doing it wrong. Very high tailwind trip. Good. We're gonna need that. Okay, moving on. AP master switch is on. External power is off. I'm always very reluctant to do that. Make sure my APU is on. Doors are closed. And since we're getting ready to do our pushback, we would turn our beacon light on. But before we can do that, we have to advise... Oh, no, he said pushback was at our discretion. So we are allowed to go on and do pushback and startup because it was at our discretion. So we'll go on and turn...
Yeah, and Kaleem's correct. They rarely put in the manual, but at the same time, most of their actual planes have working VNav, so...
Correct. Gonna need rocket boosters as well. Yeah. Go into and do trip wins. I don't know what... Hold on.
I think it was on...
Trip wind says heading 000. How do I find out the trip winds? Right there. Average wind 239.
Yeah.
That's the heading. Is that what they're asking, or are they asking for the speed?
Probably 8.8, I guess. But...
Oh, it says HD 000. So it's both. So I need to do 239/88. Format error. Darn it. Okay. Put it as scene 088. That's why. 239/088. Nope. So average wind at cruise is P077. That's what you're saying. Plus 77. Nope. Clear it all. Format error. That's not where we're supposed to enter that. We're supposed to enter that in a different place, aren't we?
Dave
oh my gosh.
Dog, but the dog doesn't have a name, so we call it Dave.
What's up, Dave?
Dave's Dog Day.
I'm just consulting.
So I just saw Creepy say P077. That's not correct? Was that wrong, Creepy? Just 77. Okay. So getting a lot of different answers. I see negative 77, 77, P077, 077. Many choices.
Just keep clicking buttons
Done.
until it works.
I've done it. Okay. What's up, KW? How are you doing? Okay. So we are ready for pushback. We're doing runway 27. Of course, we gotta go back to San Diego. Storkman, almost. Yeah. The pre-flight checklist is complete. We're getting ready to go to pushback. So we don't really need that much of a pushback, just slightly, because we're heading that way. So I need a pushback straight out, honestly. So let's.
Yeah, you're just kind of sitting there in the
right out in the middle,
non-airplane area.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know who put this plane here. It's a tailwind, Pirate Lord. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out, and I think that's with holding control. And then you can turn with the mouse wheel. Yeah. Let's do like there, hit enter, and then shift P.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
So while that's happening, I'm going to turn on my beacon light to let them know I'm getting ready to turn the engines on. Ignition mode, engine 2.
Did you make sure you close the cargo door this time?
I hope. God bless. Those screams of peril. Get A503 Persian over there with the Fliggity livery. Look at you.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. Please set parking brakes.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Please set parking brakes.
Crap.
Parking brake set.
Sorry.
The aircraft.
I forgot they want you to do that.
And Plato makes a good point. Some of the airports require you to have Mode C on the ground, so you got to make sure your Mode C is on and active.
Got it. And you did say 1, 2, 3,
Please
4.
release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engine.
Is that correct? It's on here, ATC to on, and then Tara, or Tyra. All those are correct.
It's traffic advisory and the RA. That's it basically tells you what to do. Resolution advisory or something.
What's going on, Captain Geo? Yeah, we're trying to learn how to talk to VATSIM, but we're doing it with Blueyonder instead for now. And yes, it was Amplify. It was a classic. It was. Okay, engine 2 is
I hope
on.
someone has a highlight of that video. Wonderful.
I don't think that is a highlight. I don't think it is.
Before they make it disappear. And the one from Vegas, them screaming in terror.
Yes, when we landed, yes. So Icebird says you turn on before departure, not in the terminal area. So is it something where you're not allowed to turn on your engines until you're parked?
No, you're allowed to start the engines. He's talking about the Mode C, the transponder. Some airports, anytime an airplane moves, they want your Mode C on. Other ones, it's only when they ask you to. Some, it's only right before departure.
Okay.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
The bigger the airport, the more likely are to want it on.
Roger. Good engine start. Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position, waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Okay. So we can Turn pushback off. We're waiting for engine 1 to spool up, and it's done. Engine 1 is done. We're looking at both of these, and they're both good. So let's go on and move this back to normal.
Yeah, Iceberg is correct there. He was talking about the weather radar. You definitely don't want to turn the weather radar on until you're not near the terminal.
But
it'll make sure nobody in the terminal building ever has children.
Yeah, so you're talking about the predictive, or this radar system here in the predictive wind shear, because you don't do those. I have those off. You don't do those until you're out of the terminal, right? There's like chemicals here and...
It's radio waves, yeah. That'll cook people.
Turning weather radar on will sterilize everyone in range. Can you imagine? God bless. Okay, so... Doors closed. Beacon light is on. Taxi light on. Wing lights on. We are on managed speed, managed heading. Our brake fan is off. Down the line, we turn on the block timer where we just got our pushback. Parking brake is off. Actually, right now it's on because we just had a pushback. APU bleed is currently on. We've done all those. Now we can turn our APU bleed off because the engines are on. APU master switch off. Mode selector is to normal right here. And now, this would be one of those situations where he said the departure frequency was 123.4. So it's probably in our best interest to have it plugged in. However, that's just the departure frequency. There could be a tower frequency that we would have to contact when we get to the end of runway 27. But we weren't given that information yet. He might give us that information. He might say there's another frequency. But for now, we've got our departure frequency in, just in case we need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So now, if you had initially contacted clearance delivery, when they told you to push back at your discretion or whatnot, they would tell you what frequency, contact ground, whatever, instead of just saying contact when ready to taxi. They'd say contact ground 123.4 when ready to taxi. So one of the things you can do is, if you know what all the frequencies you start loading them into your radios. So that's why you generally have on these Airbus, they got like 3 or 4 radios. So I think it's 3 radios. Yeah, 3 radios. So that's when you'd set up all 3 of your radios for the first 3 frequencies you're going to be using, so that when they tell you to change frequency, you just look down, confirm, and then press that button.
Kaleem Vibes, my nav and logo light should have been on. That was my mistake. I missed that. So I was going to say, is there a way to have other frequencies? Right now, there's just 2 on here.
So press VHF 2. Bottom. That's it.
Okay. So you'd put in all your frequencies here and not have to deal with it. Okay, good news. Sweet. Thank you. I do. Captain Geo, trust me. I do. I'm ready to go. We've already been given our clearance. I feel like that's more difficult that we were going to be dealing with. We already had an idea of what we were going to be doing taxi-wise. We've looked at the plan. It looks like taxiway Bravo to runway 27. But we'll find out what they say. So we've done our pushback. We've done our startup. The only other thing I want to do real quick is make sure the blue is gone from this screen. So we're going to put auto brake to max. What's up, Chrissy? Takeoff config is normal. Evening, Chrissy. How are you? And secure the cabin. Now it's all green. And lastly, you would turn your radar on. I should have done this already. Radar and wind shear. And now we have a good-looking screen. Good to hear, Chrissy.
Well, you probably because you're in the terminal, you wouldn't want to turn that radar on.
Am I still considered in the terminal?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you do that while you're taxiing.
Yeah. So all those ground handlers are now. It's okay. We don't want them breeding anyways.
That's gross. Okay, so we're gonna radio in. We would say San Diego ground, American 1951 is ready for taxi.
Right, so they would say, so normally you would also, and this is where you'd give your weather as well, so with echo or whatever. But,
oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to forget that tomorrow.
Give weather with taxi.
All right, so San Diego ground, American 1951, is ready to taxi with information echo.
And they would get back to you. They go, American, what was the flight number again?
1951.
American 1951. So American 1951, runway 27, taxi via Bravo, Bravo 1. Advise when contact tower 127.5 when holding short.
We would say runway 27, taxi via Bravo, Bravo 1, tower at 127.5, and we'll advise holding short American 1951. I didn't say that quite right. I guess I did. We'll advise. Do I even need to say advise when hold? I guess so. Yeah, advise when hold. It's an instruction. We'll advise when you're holding short runway 27.
Exactly. And Creepy Kirk is right. They are. It is implied that you will hold short, but they sometimes will tell you to. They'll tell you to hold shorts.
Deep dish. GG. Congrats. 6.5 hours to complete a CRJ qualification in NeoFly. That's pretty intense for that. It's crazy. Tin Man once again disagreeing with you. No, you don't.
Yeah, that's all right.
No, you don't.
And on VATSIM, they're usually keeping a fairly close eye on you because they don't have a whole lot of planes going on. So they will often contact you and tell you to when to switch over frequencies when you're getting close to the runway. But if they're really busy, or like they're patrolling an entire area and you're just a little tiny blip at one little airport, you're probably gonna have to contact them and let them.
Texas says ATIS at some airports say read back all hold short instructions.
Yep.
What? Oh, so you're saying you could do it then?
Yeah, you always have to read back any hold short instructions. So for example, if you were at an airport that had 2 runways and you had to cross one of them to get to the start of there, they will either tell you to cross runway whatever, or they'll tell you hold short runway.
Right. You're either getting clearance to go on and cross it without having to ask, or they're going to tell you have to hold short.
Yep.
Right, Creepy. You always read back instructions, and if an instruction is to hold short, you have to read it back. That is not information. That's an instruction. And Amplify's right too. They'll hold your hand if they're not busy. If it's an event, then it's tough. Okay, cool. So we've just been given information. Bravo 1. Now, Bravo 1 is probably implied because you would go all the way to the end, right? They probably wouldn't say Bravo 1.
Yeah, more often than not, in this case, they'll just say Bravo.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I'm just being explicit.
That's fine. That's fine.
It is possible for them to say Bravo and then Bravo 4, for example, if the runway was, say, they were doing maintenance on the end of the runway or something. They would tell you where to turn off.
All right. Well, we're gonna go on. We are moving in record time, 1:38. Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
This might be our longest stream ever. Luckily, it's a short flight. So while we are taxiing, do I go on now and do the weather radar, or am I still too close to these people?
Pretty much when you're getting ready to line up for the runways.
Getting ready to line up, okay. But I will go on and do...
I don't think that's a taxi line.
Is it not?
Yeah, Kaleem's, you're taxiing on the border.
It's not a taxi line. Taxi line is over here?
Yep.
So
off to your left there.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know the difference
that border there, that's the difference between your taxiways on the left there and your apron. Right?
Gotcha, okay.
The apron you can move around without any... So that's when they might tell you to contact them when you want to push back, if you got to push back over that way.
Well, and follow the green lights is the safest bet, right?
If the runway has them.
If the
airport
taxiway has them, yeah. Landing lights are at the runway 2. I wondered.
So now you have officially sterilized all the rampies and blinded them.
And blinded them. What else can we do to them?
They're getting some nice workers' compensation. Just run them over too while you're at it.
Right.
Save the company some money so they don't have to pay out insurance claims.
I mean, we turned on the engines when they were close. But that's allowed. That's allowed. But don't flip that little switch.
Yep.
2 little switches. Chrissy wants 500 points. Walk Ninja. Pretty please. That was the non-movement area border. Okay. All right. We're getting close. I tell you what, there's no way people have waited for me, right? I think everybody is gone. Every single person that was going to fly on this is absolutely done. They've already landed.
They're done.
Tin Man says, as an airliner, they expect you to use the full runway. At times with other airliners waiting for passengers not following instructions or an MX problem, you might be asked if you can take an intersection. Sure, yeah, we've done that before. We've been asked to take an intersection before.
Yeah, it's especially in airliners. Most of them have the procedure, whether it's the company or what. They expect you to be taking the full thing because you can't use runway behind you unless there's some specific reason. So maybe there was some damage on the runway or something.
Storkman says no reason to rush through pre-flight. It's interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of people are into it, and I need to learn about it too. So it does take a lot of time. And honestly, it's probably more engaging than sitting in the cockpit for a longer flight. So if you're going to do this, it's okay to spend a little time making sure, you know where you're going and you know how you're going to do it. I'm sure when we do this tomorrow, I'm gonna screw up. But if we do the same flight tomorrow on VATSIM, I will feel better because I'm already a little bit more comfortable with the layout of this airport, a little bit of the departure. I think it'll be okay, but we'll see. Depends on what kind of loop they throw us.
Well, exactly, and they'll 100% give you a different thing, even if the weather's the same, just because every single time it's going to be something different. If the weather's coming from the different way, or the traffic, or a million different ways. So now on VATSIM, when you're at this point, at the hold short, so do not cross it there. So now the instruction I gave was to contact tower holding short.
Right.
But oftentimes on VATSIM, they're watching you and they'll tell you probably, 100 feet or 200 feet behind where you are, they'll say contact tower 123.1.
So we'd say tower 123.4, American 1951. So then we'd switch it over. So, and I've now switched over to right there. You see 123.4. So we'd say San Diego Tower, American 1951. Let me make sure I say this right. Would we just say ready for departure? Ready for IFR departure?
You can say ready for departure, but usually you say holding short 27.
Oh, that's right. I didn't give my location. You're right. I should have said that. I should have said that, not thinking clearly. San Diego Tower.
Sometimes,
yeah, go ahead.
And sometimes it's also nice to give them the weather again here, because...
Sorry, they lost to Phligosaurus Rex. 9 of them. 9 of them went out on the boss and went up against the hardest boss we have. Sorry, go ahead.
When will they learn?
When will they learn?
So, yeah, and Tin Man's right. At larger airports, usually they will contact you because they're tracking you. That's actually why you have your mode C on the ground, so they can track you, and you wait until they contact you. Unless, say, they're clearing somebody behind you to take an intersection takeoff, and a couple planes have gone, they might have forgotten.
What do you mean you're learning?
So, Creepy says we've been on the ground forever. That's right. That's right.
I'm the one supposed to be complaining about being on the ground forever.
Yes.
This is my job.
So I do need to say San Diego Tower, American 1951, holding short runway 27, ready for departure.
Yep, exactly.
Nothing else.
Now, sometimes it's useful to tell them what weather you have as well, because sometimes they'll just assume you don't have it if you don't say that, and sometimes they'll they'll start reading back part of the weather, whereas that can help them. But generally, generally that's correct.
Wiz Nation, we're going from San Diego to Phoenix.
Does your ass feel numb?
I've had people on the ground longer when controlling on VATSIM, so you're good, Srafa says. Okay, thanks, Srafa. I see that, Walk Ninja. He already has a fliggetyair.com email address. Let me know when I get mine, Walk Ninja.
Sweet.
All right, so did you tell me anything yet?
No, so they'll call you back. They'll go American 1951, line up and wait, runway 27.
Line up and wait, runway 27, American 1951. So that means we got to get on the runway.
Yep.
Somebody call me Sebastian.
What's up, Sebastian?
Hey, Sebastian. So when they say line up and wait, usually it means that there's probably going to be tight spacing, or there's just somebody that's not really going to interfere with you, but they've got to wait for some kind of spacing.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense.
And this is when you're holding short and taxing onto the runway. That's when you turn on your lights and your radars as well.
Yeah. It's okay. So we got that. Takeoff. And we do predictive wind shear. Weather, if it'll do it. There we go. And then the chrono timer. Okay.
And now you might be sitting here waiting for a while. Usually you're gonna be waiting for like 20-30 seconds. And they could have already given you this other instruction, but they could say American 1951 winds 210 or whatever the winds are, clear for takeoff 27.
That's it?
Yep.
So clear for takeoff, runway 27, American 1951. So here we go.
There you go. Once they've given you that clear for takeoff, you go. You're not dilly-dallying around. You're not clicking extra switches. You're going.
This speed brake is messed up. Like, I've done that twice now.
Door ajar digger again. Yeah.
No, it was something with my spoilers, and I did retract them, but for some reason they keep messing up. All right, we're up.
All right, did you start that chrono as well?
Yeah, chrono's up. We've done chrono. I thought we were supposed to do the chrono when we were, sorry, I'm watching the flight director. When we were on the runway.
Yeah, it's when you're on the, exactly, it's when you're on the runway. I just didn't see you click it.
All right, so we're almost at 1,500 feet. I'm watching the flight director. So now we're gonna go on and do autopilot.
Joey,
flaps off.
Never
drop these down to climb. And I see the blue arrow at 230. I'm gonna go to selected altitude. Constraints on. Auto brakes are off. Zoomed in on that. We're supposed to be at 230 knots coming around this corner and under 12,000 feet. Let's make sure this holds us at 230 and we don't go any faster. It's nasty weather.
And Plato's right. I was just waiting for you to just kind of clean yourself up there.
Okay.
And so they would say American 1951 radar contact. Say passing altitude.
So American 1951 at 4,700 feet to 8,000 feet.
And there you go. And you're basically good at this point until they say you anything else. So just follow the instructions they gave you. So what did we say? 8,000 I think was the altitude.
We're gonna maintain 8,000 for 10 minutes.
Yep. So at this point they might say American 1951 contact departure runway or contact departure 123.4, whatever the might be.
Yeah, so I think we're already at 123.4. So we're on there now.
I'm just calling out numbers.
Yeah, that's fine. So so was that tower we were just talking to? You're saying most likely? That was tower there. So then we would, so now, but are we telling tower our altitude or departure our altitude?
Tower your altitude.
So that was already tower. Okay, so now we're going to tell departure. So we'd say SoCal.
So you'd call them back and tell them, you're switching frequencies too. So you want to confirm.
Yes. So 123.4 American Airlines, American 1951. Have a good day. So then we switch over. We say SoCal departure, American 1951 at 8,000 feet. Now, do we also tell them? We don't need to give them our location, right? They know.
They're gonna know. Yeah, they're gonna show up in their scope there. So they're gonna go American 1951, altitude restriction removed, climb via the SID.
Altitude restriction removed, climb via the SID, American 1951.
Yep. There you go. Cool. And now you're cruising.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I think it's just gonna be a matter of how difficult is the instruction when we get that initial clearance.
Exactly.
Let me pull up.
It can get really hairy, and especially if they're giving you vectors, then you have a huge workload on departure if they give you vectors.
If they give us vectors, right? Yeah, right. You got to know what you're doing, and we don't always. So we'll find out.
Yeah, and Iceberg is very correct. Keep it short and sweet. On departure, they know that your workload is going to be very busy, so they're going to generally abstain from giving you really complicated things to do or think about. They're going to give you the complicated things on the ground so you can be prepared, briefed, programmed it all in, ready to go, and then when you're in the air, it's just minor changes.
So you just gave us altitudes via the SID. I know that I have to be over 14,000 at George. It is okay for me to go on and ascend? Because you gave me that, right?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
And oftentimes I should mention they would probably also give you an altitude to climb to.
Yes.
So
yes.
Climb to the SID. Yeah.
And so originally you said to 270.
Yes.
So can I go on and do that because that was the original plan?
Yeah. 270.
And then my flight's actually going to go to 290, but at least that's that. I'm going to go on and go to managed speed, which can get me to 250 because I'm around that corner. Because I think we just had to be at 230 at Jetty. Now we're past that. So as long as we're under 10,000, we can be at 250 knots. Once we cross 10,000, then it'll automatically go faster.
Exactly. Now, one of the things that can get people, and Captain Geo mentioned this: aviate, navigate, communicate. Those are your three things, and always in that order, not in any reverse order. So a lot of people, when they're getting used to flying IFR, flying in any kind of air traffic control situation, is air traffic control give them an instruction, and they'll forget they're flying a plane, they'll forget they're navigating, and they'll just sit there turning the dials. It's your responsibility to navigate first. If it takes you like 30 seconds to reply to them, tough luck. That's on them, because it is legally your responsibility to make sure that plane is flying and doing as it should be doing, not communicating. Communicating is always your third priority.
So, if it took 30 seconds, is it a courtesy to say standby? Are you allowed to say standby?
You can, but usually it's they'll call you back to make sure you heard. So.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, so I can avoid the "Are you still there?" I could say standby, or maybe I don't know. Yes, 18 Iceberg. Transition altitude is 18, so we're not there yet. However, we're on live weather, and I'll change that right now. I never checked the information. We would have looked at that, and also we probably would have heard that in VATSIM. We would have definitely checked. That's something that we didn't talk about, so that's okay.
Yeah, that'll be on your ATIS when you tell them you have information echo they're expecting.
Correct. Yeah, we would have put that in. Okay, so climbing to 27, but yes, once we get to flight level 180, we can switch it to standard. And we do have a 34 knot tailwind. So I don't think it's going to be that long a flight, especially considering we only have 252 miles, and a lot of times we do these flights, we're almost already descending. So you can say standby as a pilot if you need time, no issue. Thanks, Amplify. Altimeter 2986, Rafa says. In mine, it's 2981 in the sim, but probably not going with live, like actual real-time weather. Usually the sim is a little behind, I think.
Yeah, it's part of the data and the modeling and stuff, especially area weather. It's all modeled weather as compared to measured weather, because you can't really do that.
Night of Plato.
And now, right about now, you'd hear an instruction, probably something along the lines of American 1951, change to center 126.7.
126.7, American 1951. So down here.
How's life on the red planet?
I love that line. Creepy, good night. Thank you. 126.7, so we've switched. We would say, I don't know what the center was. Phoenix Center, I don't know. Phoenix Center, American 1951 at flight level 1. Would I say flight level 184?
Yeah, you could say, you'd say crossing flight level 184 for 27, flight level 27.
I never use that word, and I should. Crossing flight level 184 for flight level 270. Okay.
And then they would get back to you, they'd say something like, American 1951, radar identified, continue.
And I don't need to reply to that, or I just say continue?
Yeah, you'd say continue.
Because that's an instruction. Yep. So, continue, American 1951. That's all they said. Passing or crossing, yes, or climbing to flight level. Yeah, you could say passing flight level 184, climbing for flight level 270.
Yeah, there's a lot of phraseology for that one. I've heard passing, I've heard climbing through, I've heard just through. Yeah, there's.
Okay.
As long as they know, you're indicating what altitude you're at, and that you're climbing, and that you're going to a specific altitude.
So. Now that we are pretty much out of there, we're going to start looking into that approach. And this is, man, it's a pretty interesting approach with all these constraints.
Yeah.
We don't know our runway yet. Have we looked at weather? I don't think we have. Let's see. Yeah, look at all that. 16 knot winds from 190 with 26 knot gusts.
Yep.
So 190 is probably going to be just landing east. Let me see. Because it looks like it's where is it? Oh wait, 190? No, that's from the south. Sorry. That's going to be a pretty nasty crosswind.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be.
So then we'll have to wait and see what our runway will be. We don't know yet.
Yep.
Oh, I know, Icebird. I don't do experimental, not while on stream. I would be afraid of any kind of crashes. I used to not even do developmental.
Or crashes or bugs. Bugs are sometimes even worse, because it's like you program something, it's like it's not doing something.
So you had said flight level 270. Our flight is supposed to be at 290. Are they going to tell me automatically to climb to 290 because it's in my flight plan? I don't have to request it?
Yeah. So when I said 270, I probably meant 290.
Gotcha.
But
so we're just going to do that. We'll assume you meant 290. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, mean, this is going to be a quick flight because we have a tailwind, 55 knot tailwind, and it's 220 miles away. So let's see the very first star to anticipate for altitude. And if I were looking at airspaces, we'd probably have an idea of when we were going to cross into, like, if it was Phoenix Approach or Phoenix Center, we'd probably have an idea if they were online. We don't even know if they'll be online. We might have to do a different one tomorrow. When they would contact us. Would they contact us?
Yeah, so they're right now, because you're IFR, they're monitoring you. So when you told them you're continuing, they're going to be continuing to monitor you. They will reach out to tell you when to switch over frequencies. It is a good practice to keep an eye on it, because sometimes they do forget people and forget to tell them, especially on VATSIM. VATSIM's especially bad for that, but yeah, keep an eye on it.
Sebastian, good night. Bonne nuit. Have a good day tomorrow. There's no Phoenix Center, Bittersweet says. Okay. It's actually LA Center, then Albuquerque Center, then Phoenix Approach. Thank you, Bittersweet. So looking at... trying to see... because I don't see any approaches yet because we haven't put them in. When are they going to let us know what approach? Because, I mean, we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, so he's at a heat. Just trying to figure out exactly.
Yeah, it was Hogs Hydra 1 is what it was in the route.
Yeah, so we're approaching IPL right now. So they'll know when you should be descending, and will tell you that you can start your descent. But they'll also so this is where I'm a little fuzzier. Is yeah, you get a runway on approach.
Okay.
So at some point here in the next little bit, probably as you switch over, they're going to tell you to start to descend via whatever SID.
Okay.
And for runway whatever.
So Hogs is down here, and the first constraint is Judith at or above flight level 250, and it gives us a constraint of 280 knots. But I can't put any of that in yet until I'm cleared for the Hogs waypoint, right? Or it's via Hogs. It's Hydra Star or Hydra Approach. I don't know how they say it. Via Hogs.
Or descend via the star, not the SID.
Did I say SID? Sorry.
One of us did.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the flight deck, the captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight.
Okay, just reached the cruising altitude. 77 knot tailwind. We are loving it. How pretty.
So, I'm just trying to figure out where we are on the airspace map. And of course, my airspace map doesn't synchronize with that. So there, they would tell you American 1951 contact Albuquerque Center 126.7.
Albuquerque Center 126.7. I don't even have to say Albuquerque Center. I can just say 126.7 American 1951.
Yep.
So let's see. I'm close, but I'm not exactly there. There we go. So Albuquerque Center, American 1951 at flight level 290.
American 1951 identified. I'll have your descent shortly.
We don't respond
All right,
to that.
so now they're gonna have to do some calculations. They know what kind of plane you are, and they, because you filed with a star as well. they're going to know that's the star you're going to want to take, and they'll probably come back to you. I'm a bit fuzzy on the phraseology of this part of it because I'm normally just listening and not really caring at this point in the flight.
Yeah.
But they'll give you something like American 1951, descend and maintain a certain altitude. So it'll be like flight level 180.
And then they're not going to say anything about the route or the approach. The star, I mean.
They sometimes will. It depends on where you are on the flight. But so one of the things they'll either tell you to descend and maintain a different flight level, or they could say at your discretion descend and maintain flight level 180. And usually it's at your discretion, so that your flight computer is able to make that decision on when it wants to descend. Or when you want to descend.
Yeah, and I'm looking, just to give me an idea, like I know I need to be, at Hydra, I have to be between 15 and 19. So we'll say 17 at Hydra. So what I would do, I've done this before. Let's go to flight plan, click that, fix info, type in HYDDR, plug that in. Not in database. Did I do it wrong?
Hold this thing up.
HYDRR. Did I do that wrong? Hold on. Come on. Yeah, there we go. HYDRR.
Now that I actually look at it, they're probably going to tell you to descend somewhere around flight level 250.
Because of that first Judith?
Yeah, because of Judith.
Right.
Now, they can technically tell you to descend below that if they want to.
Yeah.
Usually, a lot of the time, they'll tell you to just follow the star. So they'll say, American 1951, descend via the Hydra 1 for runway, whatever the runway they pick. So let's say for ILS runway 07 left.
07 left?
Yep.
So we'll just be listening for whatever they tell us. So for now, we'll assume that they've told us to descend and maintain flight level 250.
Yeah, 0 by has exactly right there. So we'll say American 1951 at your discretion. Descend via the Hydra 1 arrival. Phoenix altimeter 2971. Expect runway 07 left.
I'm not looking at what he read, so I'm listening to you. So Albuquerque Center, say again.
So we'll say American 1951 at your discretion. Descend via the Hydra 1 arrival. Phoenix altimeter 2971. Expect runway 07 left.
So descend at our discretion via the Hydra 1 arrival. I think you said altimeter 2971, and so I'm not listening to that. Is that what it was? Altimeter, yeah. And then expect runway 07 left, American 1951. Was that correct?
Yep. Okay. So you won't have to say your altimeter back, and you don't have to say your expected runway, because they're just giving you that information to help you program in your your FMS.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna go on and do that now. So flight plan. Now that we've been given it, click Phoenix arrival. That's Sky Harbor. 07 left via Hydra 1. And I'm not going to do Avona. I don't remember ever seeing that, but let me just make sure. I don't see that anywhere, so I'm not going to do Avona. I think that'll probably get screwy. And then Hogs, we are doing Hogs. Definitely. Let's check any discontinuities. Okay, now let's look at it. Okay, so it's turning based on what we just put in. And let's zoom out. And that looks interesting. I don't know what that little green is, but that might adjust when we get closer.
Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate to what it looks like.
Okay. Don't erase discontinuities. Oh, you have to erase discontinuities, Zero.
It's fun when the plane just starts doing circles in the air for no reason.
You have to get rid of discontinuities. You're not supposed to have those. That's when you get really screwy. I don't know how you've survived with doing discontinuities. Those are usually vectors, not on this plane. I'm telling you, Zero, we've literally had spaghetti.
Yeah, and he is right. He is right in that they are usually vectors. So what happens is once you come off the end of that waypoint, they'll actually tell you to turn certain headings to intercept the ILS. I don't remember where that discontinuity was.
Okay, I don't know, Zero. I'm not gonna mess with it tonight. I've never ever kept a discontinuity in, so we'll find out.
Yeah, and IFR, they will oftentimes do. They'll require you to do whether it's VATSIM or in real life. There's usually a vectors to final on there as well.
So we're gonna go on and get down to 250. I thought I did that, but apparently I didn't. There we go. Told you this was a quick flight, but that was kind of the point for tonight. We did not need this portion to be long.
Yeah.
If you erase discontinuities, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so when they're vectoring you, they're going to tell you to turn heading like 270 or turn right 250 or whatever it's going to be. They can also sometimes tell you turn left. So if they say,
yeah, you're hearing the announcement.
If you are up,
okay,
it's the announcement in the plane.
Yeah, discontinuity between arrival and approach, that's generally okay. So they'll give you it's a few different types of instructions for vectors. They'll either tell you to turn to heading something, or they'll tell you to turn left 10 degrees or 20 degrees or 30 degrees, and you have to be very cognizant of that. So when they say turn left 25 degrees, that doesn't mean turn left to 25 degrees.
Right.
It means turn left 25 degrees from your existing heading. Whereas if they say turn left to heading 25, then that means you turn to heading 25.
Because right now our heading is, what's the easiest? I mean, I see it looks like it's 74, but I don't know how to sync my heading because it's not as managed, and then there's selected, but how do I sync? I thought you just pressed it, but that's not it on here. Because if I want to,
yeah, I don't know. I think it is just push it, but
well, push it is managed, which is what we've been doing.
Yeah, maybe it's pull it,
but it doesn't.
Remember. But for now, it's following that one.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going 75. If they said turn right heading 25 degrees, we'd be going at 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So we would just have to watch that we select. We'd have to pull this knob, go to selected heading, and then adjust it. You can do that. Adjust selected heading to the right 0 degrees. You can turn that there. No, I know, Icebird. When you pull it, it'll start at your current heading. Okay, gotcha. Sometimes in the other planes, that's not the case. Like, you'll do it, and it'll automatically start turning because it was set for a different setting. Like, it wasn't synced. Okay. Well, so it is.
Yeah, so at some point here, you're going to be handed off to approach. So they'll say something like American 1951 contact approach, or contact Phoenix approach 133.5.
133.5 American 1951. Good evening. Good night.
I'm just making up radio numbers.
That's fine. So 133.5. Switch that. We would say, was it Albuquerque approach, or was it Sky Harbor approach?
Yeah, Phoenix or Sky Harbor approach. Yeah,
so Sky Harbor approach, American 1951 at flight level 250.
Yeah, So you'd normally say at flight level 250, descending on the, and you might either say the star or just descending upon the star.
So I would let them know that I am descending on the star as well. So flight level 250,
Yeah, exactly.
descending on the star. And do I say specifically what star? The Hydra star?
Yeah, you'd say Hydra 1.
Hydra 1 star. Descending via Hydra 1 star.
Just descending via Hydra 1.
Hydra 1, yes, thank you. You don't have to say star, that's right. You don't have to say star. They know what it is. They know it's a star.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, thank you, Icebird. Thank you, Icebird. Thank you, Icebird. Let me do that real quick. Let me descend to flight level 220 real quick, and then I will do all that. Thank you so much, Icebird. Hold on. 1006, 20 degrees. Let me do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I typically forget this until it's too late. To that in a second. So we have 07 left, ILS. Those minimums are 1326. And then wind 190 at 16. 190/16. And so we are in... Yes. No, I know, Captain Geo. I didn't think about it. Okay. So... descending to flight level 220. Also check, now that we've put in that ILS, we can also make sure that we've got the frequency in. It looks like it's good, 111.5. Let's make sure that comes up. There it is, 111.5. So that was correct. Just double checking. We'll end up catching the glide slope at 2,600 feet. And now we're slowing down. Oh, just to, okay, I thought we were slowing down, but we're not. It's just to level off at 220, but we don't really need to level off because it wants to be under, and we might as well continue descending. Should I? Let me try this. Let me try managed altitude.
Dangerous.
Well, there. Okay, okay. Look, it just went to 265. So we're gonna see if that works.
Still looking for under 190, and it's...
Well, you're right. The speed is working, the altitude is not.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll do that on our own. Let's go to 15. You have the set altitude to a lower altitude. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Let's try that. Let's try that. He's exactly right. Let's do 4,000 managed.
Which does give me, which does remind me, oftentimes, in fact, pretty much all the time, when they start telling you to descend, they'll just tell you to descend to 8,000 feet via the star. So that's the altitude, the ultimate altitude they want you to level off.
So they tell you where you're going to end up, but you have to follow all the constraints.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this constraint says be between 15 and 19, but down here it says 110. So it's almost skipping to the next one at Gila. I wonder if that's...
It might be.
Yeah, it's almost like skipping this one. We'll find out. You may set it to the altitude the ATC gave you. That's a great point, Icebird. Yes. No, I know, Kaleem Vibes. Yeah, that's our selected. Not managed is basically what we want to do. Tell the plane what to do as opposed to whatever's programmed in. And you can set non-standard. Yeah, but I have to wait. I can't do it now, right? I have to wait. Till we get to 18.
Yep. Your crossover point.
Okay, we have 60 miles. Quick flight. That headwind or tailwind did not hurt.
Yeah.
You can set it to if your target is below transition, I believe. Someone correct me if that's a mistake. Let's find out. Let me do it right now. Let's find out. So it's not blinking, but we're above. Let's find out. Oh, wait. I needed to pull for standard. Oops. Pull. No, that's not true. I was correct. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Does need to be push.
Yes, whenever altitude has an FL.
From upbringing. Parents are probably idiots too. Lorraine, you ever have a kid who acts that way? I'll disown you.
Go ahead.
So whenever a number means flight level, that's a standard altitude. So that's when it's on STD. Whereas if it's another altitude, like you see, it's got 17,000 there. That means it's a pressure altitude.
Yeah. I was doing that all kinds of wrong.
What have you found? All I found is that these red lights keep moving back and forth. Aside from that, this thing seems to have no other function whatsoever, sir. That's impossible. It must have some sort of function. I mean, why would the government put all that money to it?
I am trying to learn, yes, Iceberg. I am trying. Although this has nothing to do with VATSIM, but this is still stuff that we haven't typically done. This flight has been 35 minutes, and we have 49 miles. Goodness. All right, still descending for the 10. Let's look and see where we are on this chart too. Yeah. So here at Gila or Gila, supposed to be between 11 and 17 at 250. We're already at our 250, so we don't have to slow down anymore. There's somebody. And then
they could be awful until you. So when they say descend via the star, they could say descend via the star to Gila and hold. And in that case, you're going to have to go into a hold. But
you're talking about this circle here.
Yeah, and now I've never seen a hold on VATSIM, but I'm absolutely sure that they can do it.
Yeah, that would just be because there's so much traffic. We obviously won't deal with that. Now, this plane doesn't have the hold programmed in yet, does it? Or did it incorporate it?
I think they were supposed to add it, and I think I saw a video of someone using it, but it doesn't work, or it didn't work for me.
Amplify says I've only had one hold ever on VATSIM. I thought they added it, brace yourself.
I know I saw a video of someone tried to use it and it didn't work, so your mileage may vary. But the qualification flights you're probably going to do with like shed and stuff, they'll probably give you things like holds to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. So, okay, this next one we have to be between 10 and 12, and we are too high.
Just slightly too high, but you'll be... Yeah, you're definitely on that one.
And it's, yes. Yeah, we're not going to be there. Although we were programmed in, it's not taking us there. I probably could put on some speed brakes if we needed, but we're going to see what happens. Could slow down.
Alright, so what is the top of this road?
I'll do some speed brakes, Iceberg.
4,000? So you might get something like American 1951, continue descending via the SID to 4,000, contact when established. ILS 7 left.
So So continue descending via the SID at 4,000. ILS 07 left, American 1951.
Perfect. So now what they're asking for there is they want you to keep descending and line up with that ILS. Usually they're going to ask that specific one to contact when established when they're vectoring you.
Okay. There's an expedite button below altitude? Oh.
Yeah, there is.
I've never used that. Let's see what happens. Expedite. I've never used that.
Screaming, don't use it.
Don't use it, Kaleem said. But Devious told me to use it. Why can't I use it? No. Clean Vibes. No. But what if I wanted to send faster? Only 5% of pilots use it. I'm in the 5. That's me. I know that's 5% because those are the pilots that are making mistakes. Once heard from a pilot that he would not use it IRL.
Yeah, apparently it's fairly uncomfortable for the passengers in the back to drop that quickly.
We're only going down 1,700 feet. Poor Kaleem Vibes. It's okay. We've never pressed that button. We got to press a new button tonight.
This is when self-loading cargo starts screaming.
Yes, that was exciting. Got to use a new button. Normally the phraseology would be American 1951 at a fix. Cleared ILS approach runway 07. Normally you don't report established in the U.S. So American 1951 at, you could say at Kagor or whatever. Let me go on and switch over to this chart. I gotta sneeze. We're too high. Excuse me. Ugh. Speed brakes. We're too high. Are we on the approach phase yet? We're not.
Got pretty close. Falgo. Yeah, Falgo. Yeah, you're pretty much lined up with the runway at this point.
Okay, well, time to slow down. Go away. Just that close, Icebird. Anybody know where the expedite button is? The 5% of those pilots are overspeeding as well.
And you can see on your the FMS, the whatever the main screen there, you can see those two curves. I believe that's where vectors start.
I see.
So that's why you'd get that discontinuity. So at that point, after you left foul or whatever, it would start to vector you. They'd say turn heading whatever to intercept the ILS.
Man, this is rough. We've got to get some altitude descent here. Yeah, I see the orange line. That's a flaps line. I know. Yeah, I see that little tiny line. It's I don't know. All right, let me let's do LS. Oh, we're still above. We're still above. I wonder if I can hit approach and it will correct. We'll see.
So where you're Calgo, So 5,000. Yeah, you're actually about right. You're about right.
We're close. You can see the pink diamond here. It might adjust. You've got the runway, just shut it all down. You've done it. Congrats. Oh crap, we gotta get predictions on. Hold on. Gear down, yes. Yeah. I'm supposed to wait a little longer, but we'll take it. Now we're in great shape. Might get a CTD with all the photorealistic loading in. All right, there you go. Get your predictions in. Phoenix. All right, so is Phoenix, is Albuquerque or Sky Harbor approach going to send me any more messages?
No, so they said, so remember when I called a little bit earlier, I said, we're established. So you're established. So now is when you call them back and say you're established. If not, they're going to call you and ask if you're established.
So I'm going to say if the ILS is established?
2,500.
So Sky Harbor approach, American 1951 ILS established. Or do I say specific ILS 07 left established?
You just say established is fine. So then they would say American 1951, contact tower 133.5.
133.5, American 1951. And we're already on 133.5. Actually close.
Yeah.
Actually, we are on it. Okay. So then we would say Sky Harbor Tower, American 1951 at 2,800 feet, descending for, or on final? We don't even say, did we just say on final?
You'd say established and then the ILS you're established.
So I don't give altitude, I don't say I'm on final. For IFR, we just say Sky Harbor Tower, American 1951, established 07 left. Or was it?
Yep, yes. That's fine. And then they would say American 1951, clear to land, 07 left, wind, whatever at whatever.
Cleared for 07 left, American 1951.
Yep, and there you go. Now it's just about landing the plane.
This doesn't look like a 07 left. Oh, it must be that little short one's the right. Okay, just curious. Okay, all right, awesome. So that's the outer marker beeping at us. I'm not going to do auto landing. But I am going to turn on my landing lights. My understanding is you're supposed to do that.
Final sanity check, dumps, gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop switches. Wait, you don't have any
mixture, prop, yep. Auto brakes to medium, that one helps. Auto brakes to medium. No more full speed brakes. Don't need those anymore. Are the Logitech radio panels any good? Thinking of buying. I really like the radio panels. I like the radio panel more than the autopilot panel. The autopilot panel works great with smaller aircraft, like GA aircraft. But airliners like this, I rarely use the autopilot panel because they're not always compatible. But the comm panels are wonderful. Yes.
The comm panel's especially good if you're on VATSIM.
Yes.
Good if you're on VATSIM.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's going to help me a ton. Not having to look down here and finagle with all that. All right, here we go.
300. 100 above. 300. Minimum 200. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Oh, that wind. Oh my gosh, a crosswind. 16 knot crosswind. That is really pulling us. I mean, that was okay. 223 in an airliner for me is not too bad. There goes Kaleem Vibes with the F-18.
Well, especially in oh, Jesus.
I know.
Especially in winds and stuff, you want to get the plane on the ground. It's more loading it and gently greasing it on. You do need a bit of force to put the plane. You do need a bit of force. So if you have like a 50 foot per
don't float
per
it.
minute, or yeah, you don't want to float it. So they're going to tell you American 1951 exit left, contact ground 121.5.
Exit left 121.5 American 1951. So we would do that. Then we would contact 121.5, whatever that was, and we would say American 1951 is clear of runway 07 left via the Echo 8 taxiway.
I should let ground to go. American 1951, taxi Echo Delta to the apron.
Taxi Echo Delta to the apron, American 1951. And we would look for where that is. Of course, we would already have this pulled up and have an understanding of the airport before we arrive. We could see Echo Delta, and there we are right there. So it's just right next to us.
Yeah. And they might give you a little bit more specific directions, like Delta 8 or whatever. It all depends on what you're specifically asking. But it's taxi instructions.
That's a fast taxi.
Tokyo drifting.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. There's no passengers aboard this plane. This was a test, and we didn't want to put them in that kind of position. Nice fucking move.
And there you go. Now you're on the apron. You've confirmed all the instructions. You can shut down. You don't even have to talk to them anymore.
Well, and we'll see. We'll see what kind of loops they throw us for. But if I've got people here helping and telling me what to say or do, I think we'll be okay. We just need to be smart tomorrow about where we're flying from. I would like to do this same flight tomorrow on VATSIM and see what happens. We'll find out. I don't know. We'll have to look and see who's available, but hopefully San Diego's on, and it'd be awesome if Phoenix was on. However, with that being the case, let's just look. As of right now, here is what it would have been. Nobody was at Phoenix. There was San Fran. They've been on for 3 hours, though. We can't assume that's going to be the case. Now, ground at San Jose has been on for 10 minutes. So you just never know. I mean, otherwise, there's nowhere to fly right now at this time of night. Only 2 people are on. Of course, San Diego is on, but it's different people. There's always people at San Diego. God bless them.
Total Rampy Menace Amplify just notified that you probably just blinded and sterilized another set of random.
Damn it. Weird. Yes, and yes. We should have done this when we cleared that runway. So let's turn those lights off. And no more sterilization. Flying from my hometown to my current town. Nice, Ropey. Yeah. Jado, thank you. We will see. We will see, Jado. I think we'll be okay as long as we stay focused. Camgio, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, join us tomorrow. Blueyonder, thank you for the help tonight. Thanks for being on the stream, because I know it was a little longer than normal, too. I appreciate you putting up with me.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I think tomorrow night, I'm going to start streaming, because the Concorde's coming out on Wednesday, or is it tomorrow? It might be tomorrow. I'm probably going to stream probably about 6 to 9, so right before your stream, and play around with that.
Nice. I'm going to watch that because I want to see what that plane's all about. And I'm curious what you think about it as well.
Apparently it's not study level, but it's like you have to deal with the trim tanks and all that stuff. So it looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
Nice. Thanks, Amplify. Thanks, everybody. LTX Sniper says, how hard is this game? I'm currently downloading it. Well, the beauty of this is they let you just start right in midair and just start flying if you really want.
It's like Dark Souls is here, and Elden Ring is here, and then Flight Sim.
Not a game.
Just right
not
there.
A game.
Just right
not a
there.
Game.
Yep. Yeah. Tell them, Wormhole. All right. Blueyonder, thank you again. Appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow. Give Blueyonder a follow, too. Good night, Blueyonder.
Thanks.
Night, night.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
Yeah, give Blueyonder a follow. Watch Blueyonder tomorrow flying the Concorde. And hopefully I'll see you back here tomorrow night as well. Hope you all had a good time. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate you all. We are going to raid... I know who. We've raided before, but only once.
Anybody got a dime?
Thanks, Raven.
Somebody's got to go back and get a shitload of dimes.
Thank you all very, very much, especially at the beginning of the stream. Lot of subs and bits. The hype train was awesome. My gosh, thank you all so much for everything tonight. I hope you had a good time. It was amazing. So let's go say hi to Juju's. Psychotic. Thanks, Tweet. And yeah, we'll see you all later. Good night, everybody.
You paying the change?
That's all I got.
What the hell is this, pennies? You paying the change?
That's all I got.